Watch live now, SMURFS, Arts Only Picture Show. Number 37, Janus Looking Forward, Team Plus Ultra. Pig Face, 2019. Pig Face, outline for the year to come.
Oh, I filled up the description really good with like places you can click to give away money and buy stuff and all this stuff.
Oh, nice.
In case anyone's wondering, this show's all about Janice Ian and what she's going to be doing in her future with her life.
Did I spell it wrong?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm just joking.
Okay. Oh, Tracy, that screen capture I sent into our DMs is from an ancient occult encyclopedia or dictionary. I'll get you the PDF somehow.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Audience.
If you're tuning in, thank you for showing up. Oh, I guess we better promote. Sean, stop talking and go promote yourself. It's easy to promote yourself. It's not so easy to give yourself a raise. Welcome to Picture Show.
I'm saying it's audience appreciation and contribution day.
That's right. Unlike other customer appreciation days, this is where you pay us more to be here.
Live right now. Click and come join us. Talk to us in the chat. We're going to talk to you this week.
Picture show.
Come here, picture show. Come on, let's picture show. Still prescription only, better call your doctor. Please tune in and join us this week. We are live now, and we would love it if you would come and join us this week now. Live on Picture Show with me and JEM Tracy. Technical difficulties as usual, starting late every week. 7 p.m. is what we say, but that's a lie. Ha 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 ha, Picture Show. Click here now and participate in live chat discussion about the future of this broadcast. Picture Show.
And many others. Welcome to the show.
It's actually live right now. Click and come join us. Talk to us in the chat. We're going to talk to you this week.
Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend.
Yeah, I'm playing bass on this track.
On the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. Seagulls flying, riding over scraps. Homeless people here to Sunday taking naps. Hard to keep up with all the
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
reading Henry James. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. 17 degrees. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. Dumb dead fish rotting in the sand. Asian lady screaming plunger in her hand. Look out yonder at the crooked lighthouse tower. Ain't no better way to kill a half an hour. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend. Dawdling on the boardwalk. Dawdling on the boardwalk. Dawdling on the boardwalk with my dad's best friend.
Hey! How many we got watching?
I moved it. What in the world is with this outro? I don't remember the outro being like that. 11 watching.
Did you mention me in your tweet?
I don't usually tag you.
Oh. That way I can retweet it.
I did it different. I was being
Lazy. I used Instagram to tweet and post on Facebook at the same time.
Oh.
Kinda got a point, because then I didn't tag anybody on Facebook.
Spectacle.
We're up to 12. Welcome, 12 guests. We will be changing over so you can see our beautiful faces and hear our wonderful plan. Shortly.
Beautiful faces. The soup jet. I know we're awesome looking.
No, it sucked. You look like Mike Cernovich. Good evening to everybody except for Trump's head.
Great evening.
Like your evening ratings every Wednesday. That's pretty good.
What?
Like your Wednesday ratings. Customer satisfaction at 660 tweets today.
Oh shoot, I should have done that.
That's alright, I just retweeted it. I'm still kind of lazy on the Digi promotion.
Alright.
Thanks, Jacob. You tagged me on
Oh, cool.
Facebook.
Is everything okay?
What was your Wednesday that you said?
Make Wednesday great again?
Make Wednesday great again.
Okay, what song is this? 18 watching. That's the same as being of age.
Yeah, you should hold a drum.
Don't hit it.
That's a good idea.
It's fucking heavy, dude. It killed me. It's like having
An infant again.
Don't forget Tracy's got it.
Sorry, Tracy.
Oh, it's alright.
Alright, last song and we're flipping over to you guys.
Oh.
Unless you need, do you need time?
No.
Okay.
I love free pizza. Don't go through there. Watching, that's really good for the intro memes.
I'm really excited. I'm not sure if it's because of caffeine and green dye or just because this is so exciting to plan the whole year out live.
Oh, I'm so excited too.
And little do they know that we haven't made a plan. Oh, damn it, I said it. Don't do that. I guess, yeah, let's get some feedback on this show. Or not.
Let's get some feedback tonight.
Everybody private message people that you don't think will like this show and get it up to 27 and we'll start. Otherwise, we're just listening to Adam Lore until we get up to 27. Just kidding. Here we are. Hey. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
I'm SB. This is JEM.
Right
and of
here.
course, we have Tracy, Twyman. Oh, I guess I gotta stop the Adam Lore here.
Right on there.
Volcano Lovin' is a great song, but it's gonna have to wait. It's gonna have to wait.
So we've got Jacob Bacchus in the chat. Gypsy Hustle is here. Snake Jones 09 and An American 1.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Picture Show number 37, where we are going to improvise a planning session along with you, our most favoritist people in the whole world. I was thinking call them Chat Smurfs.
Chat Smurfs?
Is that in honor of Ilium Maybe? I really hope maybe we should start with an update because of the technical difficulties. So was that guy like, oh my God, thank God that's over, get me the hell out of this office space, and like then he never messaged back, or was he actually okay, Tracy? Can you give us an Ilium update?
Ilium seemed quite well, actually. He didn't seem ill at all. He seemed like he took it in stride, you know. And you didn't even mention the fact that my kid was crawling around our legs the entire time. And that was very polite of you. But yeah, he took it well. I mean, I don't know how the audience took it, but he seemed to have had a good time and wanted to do it again and things like that. So I liked him a lot, so I thought it worked out.
Yeah, I would.
Mostly.
I would love to have him back, and I would he's the first thing we've done that inspires me to actually do some scripting, not like reading scripts like a movie, but like to get ourselves a little bit more of a format so that we're all kind of got a little bit of a forward look where we're headed, because it was working really good just what we were doing, which is just really kind of dumb luck. We never met as a group before. We'd never met that guy at all, and I don't know if you'd ever talked to him much at all, you know. So,
No, just a few emails.
So
or on Facebook, I think.
So for completely off of our hip, I'd say that was pretty awesome. So a little bit of structure would probably allow us to, like, maybe get some search results ready or some subject matter ready, and like maybe curate the pictures a little bit more than whatever Google provides us, so that we can all kind of, what do they call it, digress from there.
Definitely, yeah. I think that having some slideshows ready to go, you know, you had asked earlier in that day if he had his PowerPoint ready, and you know, I was in the middle of doing some errands, so I didn't want to like call him. I think he was at work anyway, you know, he'd already started working, so I thought, you know, I'm not going to bother him and ask him to dig out a PowerPoint from this presentation he did, you know, 5 or 6 years ago. I figure he doesn't have it handy, right? But then he came on the show and you said, oh, you should do a PowerPoint. And he said, oh, if I had only known, I would have.
Yeah,
so
well,
I could have mentioned it.
I think it would have really severely changed the vibe. So I'm kind of glad, just because it went so well. I mean, if we'd have all felt like choked or uncertain, or there wouldn't have been good energy, then I would have regretted it. But the way it went, like, I had a great time, and I felt like it was just like an introduction into potentially a lot of chances to bring him back around here and there.
I had no idea he was going to show up with costumes.
That's terrific.
So that was
Smurftacular.
awesome.
I was jealous, honestly. I love that. Like, this is one of the ideas on my list, is like on location stuff. I mean, to me, the idea to plan it out give ourselves at least 3 or 6 months and plan to go on location downtown Portland, Oregon, all of us dressed as Smurfy as we can be, and like interview people on the street and tell them what we're doing, like something like that. I think would be like, ask them like, have you ever heard of the Smurfy code? You know.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so you know how, like I said when we were talking before, you know, that I had this, okay, I'm working on a Twyman trip right now, which is, for those who haven't seen it, something that I do for the Plus Ultra audience on my website, and they, usually it's me doing a screen capture of myself looking at things that I happen to be, you know, researching at the time and explaining my thoughts on the matter. And then I edit out the worst parts and put out usually like, you know, 1 to 4 hour presentation. And so I'm working on one of those right now. But what it is it's me like cleaning up my to-do list, because I have all these things in folders, you know, with images and notes of, you know, stuff that I'm going to put together later. And there's some really interesting stuff in there that's been sitting there like for, you know, all year, and I feel like I've neglected it. So I thought, well, rather than forget about it and let it be lost, let me do kind of a smorgasbord show where I'm, you know, putting all these things together, saying at least a little bit about each topic, so that I can clean up my to-do list. And I was mentioning that to you, and so that was what made me think. I was going to do that show and call it Janus Looking Backwards. And when you said you wanted to do a planning session for this show, I thought it'd be great to call it Janus Looking Forwards, because January's almost over, so we've only got like 1 or 2 days left in which it's reasonable to do these things like reminiscing on the past and planning the future before it's too late. So I think we caught it just in the nick of time here.
Yeah,
and go ahead.
And of course, part of it for Sean is always numerology. Like I always reduce the number of the show down to a number, and then like decide like, okay, so what vibration is that number under?
So we're on 37, is that right?
Yeah, so 37, so that's 3 plus 7 is 10, and then you just take the 0 away, so you have the number 1. And the number 1 vibrates as like, they call it male masculine energy, kind of, I would call it like it's the one, like the same as in all of occult and esoteric studies, it's the everything going back to the monad. And so I was thinking that's a good energy to bring to the idea of, here we are, we've made something that's good, that has, the three of us together are like, here we are, I would call us the sub-trinity, we're not the Trinity, we're not the unholy Trinity, we're definitely not the Holy Trinity. And I just love the idea
Demi-trinity, okay.
What'd you say?
I said a demi-trinity.
The demi-trinity, there we go, that's good. But yeah, and I like the idea that you said to incorporate the Janus thing, and of course I'm excited. I considered going to start to look at plus ultra stuff, and I'm like, so I've got this horrible divide in my brain all the time now of, can I excuse going to consume content, or should I actually plan, organize, and get in line either with my own content or some other responsibility that I'm shirking in my life,
Yes.
So instead I opened my my little, I found a free drawing, browser-based drawing thing. I bought one of these pens so I can do more...
Wacom?
Yeah, I bought
Wacom?
a nice Wacom pen, like, so I can do better Photoshop stuff, more articulate and better. And so that's why that brainstorm that I sent you is so goofy looking, because it was me, like, trying to figure out how to use this thing.
I see.
Which I should.
Cool.
See, I totally rambled us right off of whatever the hell we were talking about. I'm sorry.
You talked about how 37 reduces to 1, which is the loneliest number, and I don't know.
Yeah, I was going.
Do you have anything else to say about that? I could look it up in some other sources if we want to explore the numerology further.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a numerology. I'm sure there's a numerology of the number 37 itself too.
That's what I'm gonna look. I'm gonna go for that right now while you're talking.
Okay, yeah, and I'm gonna review the chat real quick because we want
chat day.
Today is official customer chat, Smurf appreciation, whatever. We're totally accepting brainstorms for ideas for a name for the chat. Like Andy Worski's got the Worski Ghetto. I'm sure lots of other shows have a nickname for their chat. We want you guys to name yourselves something awesome that makes us better than... It's us versus the whole world out here, folks, and we're better than them, especially you guys in the chat, so... That's how I feel, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what Aleister Crowley thinks about what numbers mean. And
I have that book.
I know.
He said that 37 is Ichidh, ICHIDH. I don't know what that is exactly, but he says it means the highest principle of the soul attributed to Keter. And then it also...
So it's the crown.
It's what?
It's the crown.
Yeah, and talks about, okay, it says note 37 equals 111 divided by 3.
Interesting.
That does it?
Oh, Crowley can't be wrong, right?
Really? Okay.
37 times 3 is 111. Huh? Let's just confirm with the calculator here. Does anyone else call it a calculator?
A calculator. And, the...
Yep.
The
Lords of the Wasteland. Like that.
Okay, so I'm glad that he was able to do arithmetic correctly. But yeah, okay, so the Twyman trip that I'm working on right now is number 11. right? I think it
Oh
is.
my god,
So,
Occult fan's head's gonna explode when he watches this episode. The synchronicities are already pouring out like the kid can't keep his finger in the dam.
do you remember what Aleister Crowley said 11 means? Then why?
No, please tell us.
I'll try to clean it up a little bit. There's no way to clean it up. It's two male members hanging out together.
Oh, I see. Yeah. No,
That's what he thinks about it.
That makes me think differently of that horrible catastrophe in 2001.
I know.
Oh yeah, how emasculating.
Whoa.
But yeah, he has this whole thing about how the number 11 is the number of sodomy, and so yay. But I don't necessarily,
You said yay,
don't
right?
necessarily agree. No, it's not. I don't know what you do with that, like the mysticism of that in relation to the show I'm putting together. So
Yeah,
I think there's got to be more to it.
Oh, I'm sure there is. That's just I really have a hard time thinking about the whole sex magic part of everything, that like it underpins all of this, no pun intended, but like I can't focus on it. It's like, no, I don't want to think about men doing sex magic together at all. Like my brain is just like cancel on all that. I don't want to know any of the minutiae or details. Like okay, you're doing it. That's good enough, and no more. Let's keep it real vague.
Have you ever seen Fellini's Casanova?
No, let me screen share so that you're not. Do you want to look at us, or do you want to see the whatever we might have on the screen? Do you have a preference?
I think what I'm seeing is fine. I mean, I see you guys. I see the chat. It works for me.
All right, well, let me see if I can get Fellini's Casanova, and we'll share it with our beloved audience. So.
You mean like the poster or something?
Oh, is it a movie?
Is it what?
Is it a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie.
Okay. Well, please go ahead and tell us about it. Yeah, I was just thinking to get the cover of it or something.
Okay, yeah, I clipped out a scene from it that I'm going to do a little bit of commentary on. Maybe I'll throw that in the mix with the smorgasbord of Twyman trip number 11 here. But what you said about sex magic reminded me of the scene. So there's a scene where he's seducing various women throughout the movie and trying to extort money from them. And so in this particular scene, this woman is obsessed with alchemy, and she believes that he knows the secret to alchemy. And so he kind of encourages this belief in her, and she then continues to speak and expounds what she obviously thinks is the procedure. A few moments to take a look at that while he's working this sex magic operation with this other woman, because
Sorry about that. Looks like we're having a mic
Sorry, guys,
issue.
we had a little mic issue.
So I will avoid shared commentary until I can get that resolved. I think your mic's fine, Tracy. It was just we were having trouble earlier, and if I don't go put all the settings in there, then it's still giving us a hard time. I'm sure the chat could still hear you. It was just our mic in the room, the boom mic. So.
What's giving you a hard time? Is it the software or hardware?
Software.
Yeah, it's the software, but it's
which, the OBS?
Yeah.
It's our default mic setting.
So let me just, I'm going to go double check that right now to make sure we don't go back, because shared commentary is something we're going to need. So I guess they lost you too. I'm sorry about that. So what Tracy said was that the gentleman was trying to extort money from this elderly patron, and that to do so they would have to engage in sex magic, and that apparently he was sneaking off into the other room to
Sneaking glances.
getting what we would call a fluffer in the other room to make sure that he could get his job done with the old lady.
Wow. I had not heard that one. That's new terminology to me. I didn't know that one.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I think it was like some documentary with Ron Jeremy or something where I learned that this is like a professional position or a position in the pornography industry, like cut, go over to the fluffers, and then get back in here.
Wow. Yeah, I heard that that's how Hefner spent the last few years of his life, basically, he was in bed with a stream of women that were hired to do that, to try to help him get an erection, and he would kind of work at it for a while, but I don't know. They described him as just being this pathetic person who's kept trying to, revive his virility, and he was this doddering old man. So it's kind of sad.
That's just
sad.
Terrible. That's just so terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay can't you accept things like that, when it comes time, like if it's not working out, do you really have to hire a team of people it seems like that would, rub your nose in it even more and make it worse, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that was his whole identity, so.
Yeah, exactly. Hugh's whole identity was kind of wrapped up in that. So.
He became nothing in his own mind after that, I would imagine.
Probably. Have you heard all those things about like the tunnels beneath his house that connect to Jack Nicholson's house and things like that?
No, that's interesting.
I kind of heard about that. Aren't they supposedly old bootlegging tunnels or something? But they probably used it for something else. I mean,
I read an amazing post by if you guys follow Crazy Days and Nights. The allegation is the one like superstar poster that's like it's like him, but it's spelled like HIMMMMMMM. Like that's a person that'll post other than Inti. And so the allegation is that it's a shared account, but that the most popular person who posts on it is actually Robert Downey Jr. And there's a great entry on Crazy Days and Nights about Hugh Hefner's like they had to go through this whole proving that you don't have any way to document or verify where you are. You can't bring your phone with you. They like make you walk through 2 metal detectors, and he went into this like underground basement archive at the Playboy Mansion after Hefner's death. Someone invited him down there. Everyone assumes it's Robert Downey Jr., but we don't know for sure. But he's like describing all of these like ancient porno films and snuff-ish films, not necessarily snuff, but all this incriminating and taboo stuff that Hugh had either purchased, collected, owned, produced, etc., etc. So if you've never read that post, folks, it's worth searching through the Crazy Days and Nights archive, and I'm sure if you type in Crazy Days and Nights Hugh Hefner basement or Hugh Hefner him with a bunch of M's, probably not too hard to find out there. So. Tracy, I'm going to switch this back and make sure the mic's working here. So we're going to see the cover of the movie and just confirm. Are you guys hearing us out there? Can you still...
Looks like it's working.
Yeah, so that should have fixed it. So now if we need to look at some commentary or whatever, it should be okay. So.
Okay.
Hey!
So, you see Daz is there.
Yeah, what's up? Daz Alt Theory up in the chat. 3:55 a.m. It's an early morning in Liverpool. Welcome to RX Only Picture Show Live.
Okay, so if he was ever going to be on the show, he'd have to really get up early, huh?
Yeah, is that a secret, Jim, what we've been talking about, or is that something we could reveal?
We could talk about it.
You sure?
Yeah. All
right, so Jim and I have been having a conversation about how to integrate Daz into the RX Only Picture Show, and I have quite a few friends here and there all over the world, so I went and added a little clock on my phone that I can swipe to, and it shows me, like I've got friends in Romania, and I know a girl in London, and There's one guy I know who's in Missouri. So, like, if I'm trying to contact these people, I try to be conscientious of when I'm sending them a message, especially if I want a reply anytime soon. But I was thinking that to solve the problem, because Liverpool and our time on the West Coast is pretty opposite. So I was
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. We're being told there's no audio again.
Really?
Yeah.
What in the world?
Do we have audio, you guys?
Let's see. Test. It's showing that we have audio on our end.
Should I just plug into the live stream here so that I can monitor that?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
That's what I'll
That's
do.
messed up.
Then we'll have a delay on our conversation, but
Send them a message.
at least we'll know we're having one, right?
Yeah.
They said it's there.
I don't hear Jack.
Okay, it's that no, it's there. Also, no one says, I'll adjust my body clock for you three. You don't have to do that, Dad.
Dead air.
You've got dead air?
It's it's saying it's okay now, so they can hear us now. Oh.
Dead silence.
Michael Duffalo says we're probably getting trolled.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, good.
Tracy, it's looking like we're getting a thumbs up report from the chat now. So, were you actually monitoring it? Oh, she can't do
No,
this.
it's all right. On my end, I had a setting wrong.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Oh, hey, yeah. Michael Duffalo says he thinks Jack said
I thought I was.
is okay. Are you on delay now? I wonder if she's on a delay because this is gonna make the show into like a jazz song. So anyway, I'm gonna go on for a second here about the idea with Darren Williams, aka Daz Alt Theory on Twitter. If you don't follow Daz Alt Theory on Twitter and you're on Twitter, you should go to his account now and click follow because my gut feeling is that his goal is to like tie everybody that he thinks is worthy of like some cool, crazy, high strangeness together. He wants to put a string on everybody and bring it all to the middle, or at least this guy to that guy and that girl to this guy, and it works. He references amazing stuff. But I was talking with JEM about the idea of having like a once a month broadcast with JEM taking the lead, bringing on Darren and having it be like JEM and Darren do Daz Alt update and like and Darren apparently has told JEM in private messages that like to do something akin to a review of a bunch of the stuff that's out there and like giving a brief overview of stuff, like bringing new stuff, like here's this channel, here's that channel, here's this idea, here's that idea, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, that's just what JEM told me. And once a month or something, I think that sounds like a great idea.
Sure, I like it.
And of course, what I was thinking, Tracy, is that JEM and Darren could take the lead, and me and you just still be there and chime in and do our thing, or bring whatever we got to the table.
But it would be 5 in the morning. Where
No.
Yeah,
I'm saying I'm missing. I didn't emphasize the main point enough. To find whatever time is most efficacious for Darren, and works for us. And broadcast once a month a separate show from RX Only Picture Show plus Ultra, and have it be like once a month we intentionally grab a different time slot so no one's having to stay up late or get up early.
I see there now. Okay, well I like that approach too. That's good.
I mean, I know we're all willing to bend here and there, but I don't like the idea of anyone like having to change their sleep schedule, like for I wouldn't want to do that, I mean, unless we're going like to a concert. Otherwise, like I really don't want to change my sleep schedule.
You would change your sleep schedule for a concert?
Yeah, depending on who it is, sure. Yeah, like if it was Ozzy Osbourne.
Really? Really?
I saw Ozzy in 1989 when I was 13 years old. The youth pastor of the church took me to the Ozzy concert so I would be safe.
Okay. Wow. Have you ever heard that German song that's very much like an Ozzy Osbourne song? It's like the same song, but it has different words. And so they changed it to, so that it's a song about the Hound of the Baskervilles.
No.
No.
Okay. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
Did you go to the Church of Rock?
No, it was just.
Did I?
No, he's talking to me because I think I've piqued Jim's interest with the what do you mean your pastor took you to the Ozzy concert? So while Tracy's looking, I'll give you a little bit more detail on the story, okay? So there was like debate in my family whether it was okay to go to the Ozzy concert or not. And I really wanted to go, and so my grandmother surprised me with tickets, and she used to have like literally like 200 or 300 purses all hanging in her closet that were empty because she would change purses all the time. Well, I'll give you quick, even more detail. My grandmother was an infamous shoplifter, and this is the reason she had all the... I'm not kidding. Like I remember one time she came back from court, and she said that the judge looked at her and said, "Mrs. Blank, if you are caught outside of this courtroom with a bag any bigger than this, you are going back to jail." So anyway, they hid the 2 concert tickets in the collection of purses, and I had to dig through all of them, and when I found them, I was so excited. And then they let me know that the youth pastor, Ron, who was hella cool, was going to go ahead and go with me so that way there was no concern for my safety, and that, and I think the other... in parentheses was also that, her or my mother or anyone else in my family didn't have to go to the damn Ozzy Osbourne concert. So.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was an amazing show. It was great. So. Zach Wilde.
What is that?
So
I did the link, by the way.
Say again?
I sent you the link. It's
cool.
The song that it sounds like is Paranoid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely know that song.
So this one's about that that story by Arthur Conan Doyle, Hound of the Baskervilles, which I don't know if I've ever read that one or not.
Oh, Twitter does this, so they'll make sure it's not playing over here. Okay. And let's switch this back to where folks can see.
Nebel zieht in dichten Schwaden übers Moor von Forest Hill. Grün gespenstig grenzt ein Irrlicht, es ist Nacht in Basker.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I'm going to pause it. I see people doing this in live streams. They'll do 15 seconds and pause and 25 more seconds and pause. But that's identical. I mean, it's not similar. It's Paranoid. So this song came out first. Do you know the backstory, Tracy?
I don't know that it came out first. I don't know the backstory. I think it's they're calling it at least the liner notes here says it's a brilliant cover. But is the song about the Hound of the Baskervilles?
No.
Okay.
The song Paranoid is I think it's about doing drugs, would be my guess. It's not, it doesn't say it straight out, but I mean, it's finished with my woman because she couldn't help me with my mind. People think I'm insane because I am frowning all the time. Can you help me occupy my brain?
Okay. So he's getting rid of his girlfriend because she can't score drugs for him?
I'd say that'd be reading a little bit into it, but it's just to me, the vibe of the song is I get high too often, and now it really doesn't work for me, so now I'm paranoid and I'm unhappy. If you read the lyrics, you'll see what I mean. So,
okay.
So, did you guys hear about John Legend's wife saying her best sex was at the Obama thing? No, also known as? I did not hear that. I know Christy Twyman or whatever her name is. She had a pretty controversial few tweets. She accused her husband John Legend of being a pedophile, as a joke. I don't know why so many people think being a pedophile is so funny on Twitter. But no,
yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. It was at the Obama thing.
What's the Obama thing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, please post a link for us, also known as, and maybe we'll jump that up here and digress a little bit on it, because that's, it just makes me think of body smocking paint and ping pong tables and Michelle revealing that she's actually Michael. Like, these are the things that immediately rush through my head.
Black light, responsive drinks, stuff like that.
Maybe it was the Wonderland thing. Did you hear about that? Well, he did a party that was Alice in Wonderland themed because the Johnny Depp movie had just come out, and so Johnny Depp was there at the party.
Easter? An Easter party?
Was it Easter? I don't know.
That's just what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Okay.
I'm just going to Google Obama Wonderland party. You guys have just pushed me to the limit here now. I have to know.
Okay.
Let's
do
see.
that.
Well, there's at least some evidence of it.
Oh, wow. They hired him to wear his Mad Hatter clothes.
Yeah.
Who's the guy with the patch?
That's the director
Oh, okay.
of, what's his name?
Yeah, they got criticized because it was during the recession, and some people said it was too extravagant. But I thought this might be one of the places, one of the parties where they flew in the hot dogs, you know, from Chicago.
Because be curious to line up the dates. That might be, you might be onto something there.
Well, I think I might be, yeah. January 9th, 2012 was when the article I'm looking at was published. Yeah, and there's just, it's weird too because like, I think it was actually maybe a Halloween party or something. Because there's like skulls and stuff and bats all over the place too.
Yeah, I was trying to look at more pictures here. Yeah, well, that looks like Michelle doling out candy. I can't quite see it, but it sure looks, yeah.
She's dressed like a beta sex kitten.
Yeah, no kidding. She is dressed like a beta sex kitten.
And then there's this one guy, I'm going to send you this picture that I have. He's an actor, but I don't know his name. And anyway, he's wearing an eye patch that has a black heart.
Yeah, that's Tim Burton.
Oh, is it Tim Burton?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so.
Wow, so that's like the director.
Yeah.
Ooh, well,
Yeah, I mean,
that's one of the symbols, and I wouldn't have known what it meant back then, but
yeah,
now I do.
There you go. There's a good picture of it right there, Tracy.
Maybe it's not. Let me look.
That's Tim Burton, absolutely.
Is it Tim Burton?
Yeah, that's Tim Burton. Mr. Burton.
I missed what we're, oh, you're talking about the guy in the, yeah, there he is.
Yeah, that's him.
That's Tim Burton for sure, because I've always enjoyed Tim Burton's work.
Okay, well.
I mean, I've distanced myself from it after learning all of the symbols and everything that it's steeped in. Like when I was younger, like, oh, this is cool. This is dark and kind of spooky. It's cool. And then you grow up and you're like, oh, it's all like signaling to people about like the worst stuff you could imagine. Uh-oh.
Sounds like he's going to do Dumbo.
Really?
Dumbo, yeah.
They're going to do like a live action looking Dumbo thing like they did with The Lion King?
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Oh, Dumbo's so sad. That's going to be like heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad. Like if you haven't gone back to watch Dumbo since you grew up, be warned. It's two movies, one for kids that's kind of sad, and then one for adults that just is a soul-crushing trauma to suffer through.
It's true. He's not looking too healthy in that picture.
No, he looks pretty pasty and horrible.
Yeah.
He really does. So,
What was that movie? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go right ahead, Tracy, please.
I was trying to remember the name of the I don't know if it was his first movie. It was like a really early one, and they go down to Hades, and they go through a intestinal tract in order to get there.
The Tim Burton movie?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that kind of rings a bell.
I think so.
I know that when I read your Baphomet book, it totally it reminded me vividly of the images of Corpse Bride, because the whole sneaking the ring onto the finger scene. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's almost identical to what you had referenced in the book of like hiding inside of a stump or whatever, or like I think that's what was in the movie, but that's described in your research that that's a common tactic of it's Lilith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lilith.
Yeah. There's a book about it called Lilith's Cave. It's all about these Jewish stories about how people have another spouse in the underworld, and that shade will try to marry a man first and then have some kind of claim on his soul,
right.
At that point. So even if he gets married again, then he still always has the first wife that he has to deal with, and sometimes in the stories he'll have to share his time, like half of it with the regular wife and half of it with the underworld wife.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Persephone, only it's usually a man in the story, but
right.
similar. She has to spend half of her time married to the devil in the underworld. And yeah.
Yeah, I'd never thought of that till just now. It is kind of a parallel. Lilith and Persephone is my mind is blown. Yeah, if you guys haven't read the Baphomet book, I put the links down in the description this time. I had a little time before the show, so you can sign up for Plus Ultra. I just put Tracy's, I put her Patreon in the description, but you can also go to TracyTwyman.com/plusultra. Is that right, Tracy? Is it just /plusultra?
Yeah.
Okay.
TracyTwyman/plusultra. And then, yeah. That's the thing to do. If you join Patreon, that's fine, and it's just it's the same thing really, because anyone who joins Patreon and does the first tier, which is $11, they get to be on the website too. I need to correct myself because it was not a Tim Burton movie. It was done by Richard Elfman, Danny Elfman's brother. I think.
Interesting. Well, that's an easy mistake because they. Those guys, Danny Elfman and Tim Burton worked together almost exclusively, so that makes sense. So what was his name? His brother?
Forbidden Zone. Forbidden Zone, film based upon the stage performances of the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo, which I guess is their original name, right?
Interesting, yeah. I'd only ever heard them as Oingo Boingo. I see Civilian X in the chat. What's up, Civ? Civilian X does some pretty cool stuff on YouTube, folks. So so that's the one where they fell down and they had to pass through the bowels to get to hell.
Yes.
The bowels of hell. Might have to go watch that movie. Tell me the title one more time, please.
Forbidden Zone.
Forbidden Zone.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things in that movie. So yeah, it's interesting. Danny Elfman, or what's his name? Richard Elfman does this movie. His brother does Oingo Boingo, except they have this secret society name, Mystic Knights. That's like the Shriners, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then, then he does The Corpse Bride. What are some of the other Tim Burton movies? I mean, they're all really dark and weird,
Tim Burton he did Edward Scissorhands. He did the one with Johnny Depp where it's is it The Headless Horseman?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name.
He did Pee-wee's Big Adventure also.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I love Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but yeah.
I forgot he did that.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yeah, I never watched that one, but I heard good things about it, surprisingly enough.
James and the Giant Peach.
That was Tim Burton?
Yeah. Ed Wood.
There was at
some
least
Batman movies too.
Sleepy Hollow was the Headless Horseman one. There's another one where Johnny Depp plays like a dark, morbid character in classical, like 20s or
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, there he is. That's the one I was thinking of.
Barber.
Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber.
Big Fish. He did Big Fish.
Batman Returns.
Dark Shadows. Planet of the Apes. Beetlejuice.
Wow.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
I was gonna see if we could find an image of that. Richard Elfman, Forbidden Zone, Bowels of Hell.
Mars attacks. 9.
Oh, weird. I want the audience to see this picture. I'm not sure how this references into anything, but there is what was this guy's name from the Fantasy Island, Tracy? Yeah, Duplain. I get the.
I can't remember his name. Surely someone in the chat would know that one.
Yeah, who's this little actor? I remember being really heartbroken when I found out that this guy allegedly shot himself in the heart to commit suicide.
Oh man.
Which is just so unheard of for a man. Men shoot themselves in the head. Women will occasionally stab or shoot themselves in the heart, but men almost never do that. So it was like, because I remember being a kid and really feeling a kindred spirit to this guy when I would watch that show. Like, partly I'm sure just because he was small and I was a child, but it seemed like he was like...
Tattoo.
Yeah, Tattoo, thank you, yeah. Like, Tattoo was kind of neglected and abused, you know, in the show. And I mean, now that I'm older, it makes a lot more sense because the guy who was running the island really was like an evil prick, even though he was charismatic and like supposedly doing the right thing. If you go back and watch it now, it's like he's not really a very good guy. But when I was a kid, I was thinking like, why is this guy always so mean?
Wasn't it like something like selling your soul?
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of like Mephistopheles. I mean, not identical, but similar theme, in my opinion.
I don't remember the theme at all. I was too young.
Yeah, me too.
People would come to the island and they could have their fantasy fulfilled.
Their deepest, darkest fantasies, or maybe not dark.
But it was always at a cost somehow. I don't remember specifically either, but it was. I compare it to a leprechaun too, like, you know. I wish for $1 million. Well, your wish is granted, but you can't spend it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and keep up with the chat here. I saw something up here from Michael Duffalo. Tracy and RX, any thoughts on the undercurrents of polar decapitation / castration connection, or am I grabbing straws? Well, grabbing straws is what we do around here, so...
Polar decapitation.
That's...
Is that both sides?
What pole is being decapitated? What am I missing?
Well, I mean, you've seen the vortex, the winter vortex. Trump's tweeting about it. Like, they're having extremely low temperatures in parts of the United States right now, in the East Coast, and even blending over kind of into the eastern Midwest area.
Like 51 degrees below zero in some places.
Yeah, like freeze your fingers off.
In 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I understand that. I'm not getting the
connection.
That's a good question. I was trying to like let my brain just kind of fire off what might connect to the hidden occult side of that, and I'm not really. Polar vortex and pets: 5 ways to keep your dog or cat safe in dangerously cold weather.
Did you see the headline about the guy that froze shoveling the snow and died?
No.
Okay, so that's on Drudge. It's on like the upper left, you know, where he puts that stuff above the headline.
Yeah.
And so I looked at that today and I said to myself, I'll bet some evil boomer mom sent him.
Whoa. Sorry. This is one of those awesome web pages where they have delayed advertising.
I thought that would be an avalanche of snow burying you from the...
I did write it on my list to have special effects as part of our improvement of like production values. So maybe that was foreshadowing for how awesome the show's going to be before we get to the end of 2019. Tracy says boom, and it's like boom shakalaka boom shakalaka.
Okay, I'm glad we're thinking alike here. But I've been collecting what I'm calling hotkey clips. Like if we can, hello? I don't hear anything.
Can you hear us?
I hear you.
Yeah, we're still here. We can hear you fine.
Weird. Okay.
But yeah, like sound snippets, sound bites, hotkeys, like. Oh, maybe we better wait a second.
Okay. What are we waiting for?
Oh, I was just making sure that your stuff's okay. It's like we're having the mildest of technical difficulties on both sides. Like no real major problems, but we both keep going, oh, crap, shit, oh. So,
Because our standards are really low still, so.
Yeah. I figure we'll lose half of our fans when we finally get some like professional looking stuff. They'll be like, "Oh, that CIA got in there with them." You see those the swipes. You see the screen swipes and like they end on time. They start on time. Totally infiltrated.
Probably.
We start moving to 15-minute shows
15-minute shows
every day.
I can't. The three of us can't get our computers on and push play in 15 minutes. So there's no way we're doing 15-minute shows.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand what's different from one day to the next. Plugging the same things into the same sockets and they don't work. I don't get it.
Yeah, I accept it as normal because I've tried to record so much music at different times in my life, and we never really had a full-blown professional setup, but we had pretty damn close. You know, we'd all dump our money into it and get this component and that component, and you always end up like with everything's perfect right before everyone arrives to get ready. You've got your outline, you're well rehearsed, everything you've done is in place, and you come in and somehow it just doesn't work. And so it's easy, and it's just a cable, and we've got a cable, and then the replacement cable doesn't work. And it just reels off that way, and then 4 hours later, like, people are starting to look disheveled and disenfranchised, and now even if you can get everything to work, the vibe of happy-go-lucky goodness is gone. And, you know, then the band breaks up because somebody's girlfriend gets pregnant or whatever. You know, that's how it goes.
So did I tell you that someone explained to me, someone in our audience explained why Hermes is standing on a head?
No, awesome. Please tell us.
Or it sounds like this is probably an explanation. Once again, standing on a head. So she, I think I can mention the lady's name, Krista. I'll just mention the first name. And if you want me to mention more, you can tell me that. But anyway, she's written to me and she consulted someone else about it, and they pointed her to these. This is from, let's see, this is from Manly P. Hall, Life and Teachings of Thoth Hermes Trismegistus, and I'm assuming that, I think he's paraphrasing some other Hermetic text here, so I assume he didn't just make this up. But anyway, he describes someone being initiated and says, "All hail thee, Thoth Hermes, thrice greatest. All hail thee, Prince of Men. All hail thee, who standeth upon the head of Typhon."
Oh, okay.
And so, and then it talks about, describes Typhon as pretty similar to the way it's described in Egyptian lore. So a dragon, part serpent, part crocodile, part hog, and Hermes subdues it, and it dies, and he places his foot upon the skull of the vanquished Typhon. So it seems very similar to me to the image of, you know, Jesus, or there's an image of Jesus in the Bible stepping on the head of the serpent, right?
Well, it's definitely described in the prophecies. There's art of that, but not as much as there is of Mary standing on top of the snake for whatever reason. And
because it's the seed of Eve. It's mentioned in Genesis. It's the curse that's put on the serpent by God for beguiling them. He says that Eve's going to, her heel, or the seed of Eve is going to bruise your head, and you're going to bruise their heel.
Right, you're going to bruise your heel, and then you're going to crush their head. That's right, I remember. But it also makes me think of George and the Dragon. That's the. Did you see the picture I popped up here? I just typed in standing on the head of Typhon. I mean, that's not standing on his head, but that totally reminds me of, if he would just.
Little dog is doing there.
Yeah, this is a strange painting, huh? Because like the rest of this is all total typical kind of occult looking. But then, like, there's a little dog, and I can't quite see what's in this other story. Oh, it's ibis. So this is
It's
probably
got an emerald tablet.
Yeah. So this has got to be. This is actually Thoth for sure, right? Because Thoth is also symbolized by the ibis.
Is he
Yeah.
And then so this might be Anubis.
Anubis?
'Cause it's
Anubis?
I think this is an illustration of exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
and
I was
it's
hoping
I
that-
think it's like from a Manly Hall book, I
Yeah.
would gather, because that looks exactly like the art I've seen in his books.
Is he wearing an apron?
Sure looks like a Masonic compass and square thingy, don't it?
It kind of does.
Yeah.
Or like a Thuman?
Daz Alt Theory says Typhon might taste nice at a 4th of July barbecue. Especially down in Florida, I could imagine that. So.
Well, you're supposed to eat Leviathan at the end, right? Remember that story?
Yeah, and feast forever?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess I
and
don't remember
make a tent out of his skin.
Yeah.
But only 144,000 of the best Jews get to do that. So don't be licking your lips here, because
Yeah.
you don't get to eat Leviathan. I don't think.
Don't taste your Leviathans
I don't-
before they've been
How
landed.
could I not be the avid student of the Bible that I am? How have I missed this? I'm gonna have to go. You guys are gonna be back reading my Bible. Because I don't remember that at all. That's terrific.
I remember it from clock
Yeah.
shavings.
Is it in the
I
Book of
think.
Revelation? Maybe it's extra canonical.
Well, I think it's referenced in the Bible, but you know the full details you got to go to, I think, the Zohar.
Right.
You know. So yeah, it's been embellished or flourished in some of the other books.
Completely off topic, but I don't want to forget. I've been meaning to tell you guys and tell the chat. There's a guy named Robert Farrell who spent like 7 years compiling every single extra canonical reference to Jesus, the life of Jesus, and it's called the Super Gospel. And you can get it. I think you can get the PDF free, but I bought a hard copy of it because it's all of like the infant Gospels. Like it's every single book ever talking about the life of Jesus, put chronologically in order from beginning to end, and it's amazing. Like there's a story of like they need a wet nurse to help Mary give birth, and so they go and they try and get one off the side of the road, or they try and send for one, but it's taking too long, so one coincidentally is walking by, and so she comes in and helps. But when Mary gives birth, it's just like a bright burst of light, and Jesus just like comes out, so she's still a virgin after he's born. And then the second nurse comes along and doubts the story, so she insists that she's going to do an exam on Mary. And so, like, it describes it like it's subtle, but it's very obvious, like, oh yeah? Oh, I don't believe you. Let's see if you got a hymen. And so she does it, and her hand withers. And so then Mary's like, don't worry about it. We know you believe now. And so she uses some of Jesus' bathwater to heal her hand. Like,
Wow.
it's like, whoa. So yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it to grab the PDF if you're curious. It's worth it to have a hard copy just if you're a eclectic book collector like myself and some other people that participate in this show.
Wow. I didn't know about that one. The hymen check.
So we've got a question from 01. It says, Tracy, do you think Eve was seduced into sleeping with the serpent?
Sort of, but like I've said before, the story of the Garden of Eden is a story they're trying to stretch out into a linear narrative, all the things that happened at the moment of creation. So it's a bunch of stuff that really kind of happened all at once and can't really be told as a linear story. So that's why there's so many kind of absurd and bizarre things in the story. It's because that's the only way that they could represent it. It not just the author of that book, but I mean anybody would trying to tell that kind of story would end up doing that, you know. So like I think that the story of the serpent being a hermaphroditic being itself, and you know, as we've talked about before, it's the male and the female serpents locked together, and then they get separated by God, and that seems to be linked to the beginning of creation. But so too does the what seems to be the temptation of Adam and Eve is really the temptation to what is it? To have knowledge of some sort, right? Some kind of God-like knowledge of creation. And in the story, it seems like this is, as soon as they gain that, they become aware of their nakedness, and then they copulate and conceive children immediately. So it all seems to be linked to carnal knowledge is what we're talking about. But the first story of the creation of Adam is the story of a creation of a hermaphroditic being, one Adam, male and female. And then it tells the story over again, and this time they're separate and they're being lured. They're unaware of their own sexuality and that they're two separate beings, but they're sort of lured into that knowledge and figuring out what that is and what it means is the transgression somehow, and that brings them into the realm of death. And I would assume that's what starts time. That's what starts generation, sexual generation, and the passage of time, one thing happening after another, things being born and dying. So,
and you could even take that and overlay it to some degree on the Oranos story too, because that's the separation, and so then Eve bites the apple, Kronos or Saturn cuts his way out, and now we're starting to now everything's kind of trapped in a linear story, and that's why it doesn't fit to tell it after the fact.
Exactly.
So
yes, but yeah, so it's like if Eve was tempted by the serpent, it's almost like there's got to be some kind of parallel here with the hermaphroditic being of Adam and Eve, and the hermaphroditic being of these demons. And then when you look into other texts besides the Bible, they go into more detail about that, about the serpent's involvement in tempting them. I mean, they describe the serpent being this hermaphroditic being and tempting Adam and Eve, and actually sort of being the thing in between them, not just to separate them, but like as though it's the thing that facilitates their union.
Right.
This Tananiver thing that we were talking about before, which is this demon that allows the other two demons of Samael and Lilith to come together, even though Samael was castrated when God separated them, just as Uranus was castrated when this is the way I interpret the story. Uranus was castrated when Gaia and he were separated, and that's what Saturn did when he was born. So, and Saturn representing time. Okay, so that's the story of the birth of time. He has to cut himself out of heaven and earth. And that's the story. This is the same story as being told in Genesis. So that's how I interpret that whole thing. And it's like, yeah, Eve was tempted by the serpent, but in some way, the serpent came out of her. I think that's how I see it. Like, the serpent is just an aspect of the Adam and Eve combo being that was created during that event.
Yeah, that's a really good question there from 01. I don't recognize. Welcome to the show. I don't recognize you from the past, but this has got my brain spinning here. So back to the old-fashioned magical principle of as above, so below, and vice versa. It seems to make a lot of sense, and it kind of clarifies the Garden of Eden story. The story that Tracy's talking about, you can find it in her Baphomet book. And tell me the name of that thing again. I call it the cosmic serpent. It would be a good name for it, I guess. I can't think of its name.
Yep. You talking about the hermaphrodite demon?
Yeah, the serpent that gets used so that Behemoth and Samael can come back together. Is it Ilivar or something?
Tananiver, but I don't
Tananiver,
really know
that's it.
how to. I don't know which syllables to put emphasis on there.
Right,
but
yeah. So the idea that that happened on a cosmic level, and that their goal is to get back together, but they can't, and then Adam and Eve reenacting it or paralleling it, and that the serpent is still the, for lack of a better way to say it, it's still like the surrogate penis, or it's still the generative force,
Yeah, or it's like either that or they are, and I can't tell which is which, but like, you could be possessed by demons. Adam and Eve could both be possessed by a demon. They could be possessed by the male and female aspects of this demon that was cut apart, that used to be a hermaphrodite, that wants to come back together, but it doesn't have a penis, but it can infiltrate Adam and then have one, and and then his wife can go inside of Eve, and they can. But you can basically be like an avatar for them.
Right.
So I think it could be that, like it's a metaphor. For one thing, for how creation happened, and also that this is happening all the time. Like we are, we're the players in the game. Angels and demons we're the characters. They're the players, and they're just using us to act out their little game on the Earth plane here. Which wouldn't be possible unless they, separated heaven and earth to create this flat plane for us all to play on. But they're on the outside somehow watching us.
Right.
And yeah, somehow it gives them the satisfaction they need to be able to go through us to connect with each other.
Absolutely, yeah. I was still reading the chat, but I'm totally I think we're kind of all on the same page, and in the chat it looks like the same thing. And Krista Cox said right here somewhere that it made her think of the DNA strand, and I've definitely brought that up in the past, that the whole story of man, of woman springing from man, I find a lot of that resonates with me, that that you have the XY to start, and that's what it really means, that you separate the woman out and you get XX. That's there's more than one person out on the internet theorizing that the entire, not just the creation story in Adam and Eve, but that you can look at almost all the various scriptures as a parable or paralleling to the story of genetics and DNA, and that it's that we're trying to get back to that the archons are trying to get back to where they have enough control that they can make anything they want anytime. And it looks like we're approaching that, with the whole nanotubes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was listening to a guy today talking about how you could just have a big pile of nanotubes and say that you need an extra chair, and it kind of just blurts you out one like a really fast 3D printer, and then you use it, and then when you're done, you just throw the chair back into the nanotubes and tell it, hey, all right, just go turn back into the black goo, and we don't need you anymore, and that way, you don't have to have an extra chair around.
45 watching.
Wow. So, the stuff that we did on that James Freed show that he was talking about, Craig Venter, the guy that headed up the DNA project, he's on if you guys haven't seen Craig Venter's TED Talks in reference to all of this, it makes a lot of sense that he's creating synthetic life. He's showing you that he can remotely edit and change DNA like copy paste. Like he's bragging that he's bragging essentially that he's the guy that figured it out first. Here I am. I'm the first guy to make. They call it non-born, I think. Non-born. I can't remember. I'm not going to Google it.
Do you remember what his boat is called?
Yeah, his boat is called Sorcerer 2.
Yeah.
Like Sorcerer 2.
Oh, by the way, everyone who's watching, you should thumbs up and subscribe.
Yeah, welcome to the show. We're seeing a pretty high count, but please, give us a like, share, subscribe, or do. And here with it's so hard to read the chat. I have a lot of respect for people that effectively read their chat and stay on task.
Can you think of anyone who does that?
Well, Andy Worski does a pretty good job. He kind of goes off into like like idiot zone to do it though. Like he's so used to reading his super chats and doing stuff that when he reads it, he's not really in there. It's just like something he has to do. So like he's like, I gotta go do this. I know I have to do it, and he'll do it. But he's not really paying attention to what it's saying, and like sometimes he'll snap out of it and go, oh that, yeah, this, that, and then he'll go back to how da 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 da. You know, like just it's almost like a trance. It seems like a super chats put you in a trance. Oh, now there's an idea for the future. This year, Tracy, we should go on your channel, plan it out ahead of time so everyone can be ready. Go do an episode from your channel and turn the super chats on so that it makes it easier for people to like, I don't know, like a fundraiser or something. If we get some kind of a goal that we want to put enough money in the kitty so that we can, whatever, go meet at a museum, go meet in Portland and go dress as Smurfs, you know, anything like that. We could all go to a cemetery together, or one of us could and the other two watch and commentate, like go to a cemetery.
Okay. Yeah, I'm open to that.
Ooh, that'd be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know, you know, you guys have busy lives, but yeah, if you want to add on some extra dates here of things that we could do, I've got, well, I'll show you. Hold on.
The 48 now.
So let's keep reading the chat here. Where'd we leave off?
What about the apple being a psychedelic mushroom?
I've heard of that theory before.
It's like the stoned ape theory.
Hold on, let me switch you over to the big screen here, Tracy.
Okay.
If we can keep our microphone.
Looks like it's working.
All right, and fade you over. Okay, you should be there. And I put me and Jem at the top so that you've got more room to demonstrate things at the bottom of the screen.
The only thing I'm demonstrating is that I have a giant calendar.
Nice, perfect.
And,
at a glance.
At a glance.
We could write things on it that we plan to do. And in fact, what we could do, you know, I've got a list of topics that I'll be ashamed of myself if I don't do something about these topics within the next 6 months or so. I imagine you have a list, and I know our audience members have their own lists, and we could just start plotting it out here. Like, you know, we'll deal with some of these things on RX on Wednesdays, and we'll deal with some of these other things we'll, you know, make some other live shows, extra ones on you know, certain dates, and then we'll, you know, maybe we could do some prepackaged stuff, you know, where I work on like some more edited stuff, and I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different things a lot of different formats.
So,
but that's one way you could do it, is like
I'm gonna
just make a list of things that you want to do, and then we could like find dates on which to do it.
I agree totally, and I'm gonna just read off my list, not the details, but just the basic brainstorming list. I had plus ultra at the top, and then merchandise, guests and features, on location, production values, and then the last thing I had a Slack server. I like the idea of because did I tell you, Tracy, that I realized that Discord and Slack are like almost identical platforms, and it's like bing, like, oh, Discord and Slack, like it's the Discordians and the subgeniuses. They're still out here doing their thing, you know, playing two sides. I guess maybe the slackers are the pillar of kindness, and the Discordians are the pillar of
strength.
It's not strength, it's like adversity or punishment. I can't remember the word, but I was thinking we could make a Slack server for Plus Ultra Picture Show. We could even make two separate ones that are connected and interacting with each other. But as far as the other stuff, like, let me go ahead and look at whatever I have just for Plus Ultra. Specifically for Plus Ultra, I had, you know, for you, like, if you have something that's, I know you just posted something, so what's new? You used to have it almost like a forum/Facebook format back in the day. It was set up that way.
I would like to add that back. There were some security functions that I should have utilized that I will now utilize. But I think it's time to do that again, because what I'm finding is, like, you know, I get bombarded with you know, tips. People give me really good information, and I'm like, wow, you know, there's another thing on my list that I have to dive into, which is fine. But I think what would be helpful, since sometimes I sit on these lists for a long time without being able to get to the topic, is if people could not only be sharing it with me, but with everybody in the community, kind of like you see in the chat how people talk to each other, and sometimes some of the people that are regulars, they seem to have developed some relationships with each other.
Yeah.
And that takes the pressure off of us in a little bit. Like, their stuff isn't going to waste, you know, and I'm not just sitting on it, and you're not just sitting on it. You know, it can be disseminated and hashed out before, or even if we never get around to covering it ourselves. But it's more likely to be covered then, because then we'll have more information, because, you know, people will talk about it and do some research on their own, and we'll figure out what's a good angle on it, and you know, what people like, what people want to hear specifically about that topic. So I think you're right that, like, bringing the community that we started building at Plus Ultra back would be a good idea.
Yeah, maybe starting with a Slack server is a good way to jumpstart it before we get, because I was just starting to, I'm sure you remember, I was just starting to like try and post a few things, comment, chime in, like, and it wasn't perfect, but it was fun and good. I mean, it worked, it was functional, and it wasn't just like a forum. It was almost like chintzy Facebook or something.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like Facebook in some ways. There were some ways in which it failed that were frustrating me, and I kept trying to fix it and wasting hours of my life trying to fix it. I hope maybe they've done some updates or something on the plugins I was using, so maybe it'll be smoother. But I remember what was frustrating me was you couldn't drop a YouTube link and have it embed. And a lot of times even people weren't able to embed the images, you know, to get them actually pop up. And that kind of annoyed me, because I like to have that stuff. I think that helps a lot. And the other thing that I've been searching for years, I don't know if I can integrate this into the social network thing, but I hope I can. But I definitely have it on the site for some of the people that I'd like to have writing for the site. I mentioned to you guys, maybe you guys could, you know, blog occasionally, or at least I would enable you.
Yeah, I fully intend to. I just haven't done it yet, you know. So.
And I talked to Darren about that too, and Daz, that is, and he said, you know, he was interested, and so I'd like to make a video, like I said, I told you guys I will, about how to post on my site, and I may be able to enable a lot of the same functions for the people, you know, who just are members and want to join the social network aspect of the website. Because what's cool is I have this plugin that will just grab the metadata from a link, and you know, it grabs like the feature image, and it grabs the main, you know, the top paragraph, the description of the link, just kind of the way that Facebook does. So I spent years and years trying to find something that would do this on WordPress, and I finally found this one guy. Who I think he's Danish, you know, and he had invented this plugin, and so I bought it from him. I'm leasing it from him, and the idea is that it'll make me blog more, because it'll make it easier for me to just talk about current events, and, you know, I see a news story, I go ahead and post it, and I can, you know, make a little comment without having to spend a lot of time figuring out, you know, all that other stuff.
Formatting and everything. I've got a little program that I use for writing down ideas. That's not similar to that, but it's the same concept. Is that, you know, if I click the tab in my browser for that thing, it pops up a word processor with almost no formatting or any buttons to click. You can just start writing, you know, and it automatically saves every single character you type. So I have like years and years and years of journaling that I did in that location on the internet for free, because it was easy and effective. You don't have to go through a process to start, and so I totally get what you're saying, you know. Oh, Tracy, there's something, I'm sorry to interrupt, there's something I don't want to forget. A guy on Twitter linked me to this program called Scrivener. Have you ever seen it?
Nope. I'm writing it down. What is it?
Scrivener is like some kind of amazing program that's designed for writers. And like it correlates, like you're writing at your desk, writing with a notepad, like it makes you so you can pick you know, say you're writing your next book and you want to change chapter 3 to chapter 6 because you've got 2 chapters that now fit, you know, in a different place, and it makes it all super streamlined. Like, you can get it free for 30 days, and then I think it's $50 to buy it. And I think I'm probably definitely going to buy it because I'm going to start writing more. But you write a lot. So it made me think of you immediately, and I just forgot to, like, send you a link to it. But, you know, while it's in my head, I wanted to tell you because it looks amazing.
All right. Sure, yeah. I'll check that out. Yeah.
And I'm going to cover it looks like Jacob Bacchus said that he thinks Discord is actually better than Slack. So that's I know lots of people use Discord. I've been on Discord for just a second, but just trying to see if there's anything else here. Oh, welcome Occult fan to number 37. Looks like he went to the, what did he say, the Masonic Oscars. I saw him in a tuxedo on Twitter. So just making sure we didn't miss any big questions here.
Okay. Yeah, I think a feature like that, if I could get something like that integrated with the social network thing, I think that would make it really appealing for people to, you know, plant their tips with us too. It's like I feel like it's a bad habit of me that I post thoughts that I have on Twitter. Almost every time I do it, I'm like, damn, that would have made a better post on my website.
Right, and that's I saw a pretty awesome broadcast by, oh gosh, Jacob Bacchus is in the chat, and he's the one that he posted it, and I watched the whole thing. Gosh, what's his name? The guy used to be a Satanist, and now he's a Hermeticist. I linked you to it too. His name.
Oh, Mark Passio.
Mark Passio. You know, I like Mark Passio. Okay, he's not my favorite in the whole world, but I mean, I like his stuff. He's pretty aggressive, and I'm sure that turns some people off. But whatever. He was talking about how people should definitely focus on building up their own content and learning content creation systems, and the same thing we've talked about. You know, prioritizing your source of content first, and then we can simulcast it to all these other platforms and still utilize them. But then if they decide they don't like us and they want to knock us down, or, you know, YouTube tightens up on conspiracy stuff, so all of a sudden we disappear, then people only have to look a little bit farther, and there we still are. You know, if they liked us on Facebook but now we're not there, they type us in and something comes up, and eventually people start to get more traction back at our websites. And I know me and you've talked about this before, Tracy, that it wasn't that long ago that we would go to people's content on their websites as the norm, and the social media platforms were all something that you would check or use for something else. But Facebook didn't used to be full of videos and memes and all of these surveys and crap. It didn't used to be like that. They've kind of sucked us all into being lazy and using their platforms so they can mine our data and kind of keep us in their little corral. And I'm willing to do the work to break out of that with you guys for sure. I love that idea.
Well, I think that's the only thing that's going to save us, really, because we're being herded as a society in a direction that's very anti-intellectual and very, you know, just about homogenizing thought and then eventually stopping it, you know, and scaring people into silence. And I think that could all be turned around with more people doing what we're talking about. And it's kind of going in that direction, but I think actually something Daz mentioned, something Darren Williams mentioned in an interview that he did with me recently. He's talked about, he just thought that there's some dangerous aspects to the trend of everybody doing their own Patreon now and being too competitive with the other people out there that are, you know, doing the same thing. And I can see to a certain extent, you know, that we're all like vying for attention and for money, and that there is to some extent a competition, but at the same time, you know, we need to we can't just become, you know, a little isolated niche either, you know, of your fans and whoever you are, you know, whatever it is you do, you can't just stay in that little niche. And it's really important for people with audiences to talk to each other, the problem is, like, we're used to doing that now with social networks, and then we're not too comfortable doing it on our own turf or going on someone else's turf to talk to them. And this thing about having premium content makes that even harder to work out, you know.
Yeah, because now you're behind 2 paywalls potentially. Exactly.
Yeah, and I've talked to you guys about the issue with interviews with that. Like, I guess a lot of other people do it anyway, but I kind of feel weird about asking someone to donate a couple hours of their time to talk to me if I'm going to, you know, just play it for a few hundred people behind a paywall. And, you know, then they're not gaining much of a new audience for whatever it is they're talking about. And I guess most of these shows, they will, like, keep half of it behind the paywall.
Right.
You know?
That's the pretty classic format, but I don't really like it. It turns me off.
It's hard to hear the teaser and then then you're like, oh no, I have to subscribe.
And the other thing is, if we were gonna do something like that, I would love to solve the problem of being able to buy the individual second half of an episode. You know.
Yeah.
There's lots of content on various, especially occult focused stuff, where I would love to have access to their archive and some of the other interviews, but I just can't justify spending $5 a month and $5 a month and $5 a month. I just don't, you know, I mean, if I was inherently wealthy, I wouldn't care. I'd support all these guys, even some people I don't necessarily like, just to have the content available. But I know myself. I can't go sign up for 4 different $5 a month things telling myself, and I'll cancel it later. Yeah, like, sure you will, you know. And, you know, that's, so.
Yeah. So, so there does need to be some kind of a solution here. And one of the things I thought about before is the kind of thing that some other people would have to be willing to play this way in order for it to really work out. But I like the idea of paying other people for the stuff they do, you know, and especially maybe a flat rate to license stuff. So I've thought, you know, if I am going to bother someone that I really want to interview and try to keep it just for my audience, maybe I'll pay that person for doing the show.
Here,
you know?
here, that's a great idea.
And then, you know, maybe someone else has a show and they have an episode that's particularly good and particularly poignant for my audience, for things that we've been talking about lately. Well, if I'm friends with the person that does that show, maybe they wouldn't mind licensing it to our audience for a little bit. You know, so that was kind of the reason why I named the thing Plus Ultra Syndicate.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm thinking about syndication and not necessarily doing it the way that the old media used to do it and still does it, but just the idea that, yeah, we can compete, but we can also, you know, trade stuff with each other, even for money sometimes. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, that makes everybody stronger. You know, so I think we gotta, obviously we have to build a new media here without becoming entirely dependent on, I guess, obviously we have to use stuff that's there, but we can't let them stop us, and we can't let them herd us in a particular direction, and we can't let them do the thing like the record industry does with singers and musicians, where it's like, okay, sign up with us and we'll give you, you know, 5% royalties after we do the math and you know, figure out that we made no profit supposedly. Then we'll give you 1% of that.
Yeah, we'll first forward you $100,000 to spend, and then we'll let you know after the tour that by the way, you owe us that plus more back because we lost money. You know, like, no joke, that's the way it went, right? You know,
yeah.
But I agree, and I know that you know, Jacob Bacchus, I know that he's working on like stuff. He's a programmer and working on stuff specifically. I've been chatting with him some, and so I know him. I know Daz is definitely, I don't know if he's a programmer, but I know he's super knowledgeable of behind-the-scenes stuff. I wanted to bring up sites like MeWe, Minds, Gab. These are all things we could also integrate, but like you said, or like we've been talking about, from the perspective of starting with our own platform as the focus always, And it's okay to branch out and share our knowledge, share each other's knowledge. I love the idea of exclusive licensing content, whether, you know, paying people for interviews, having it be exclusive. To me, that's a very plus ultra thing. In my mind, that's where I want to see plus ultra go, where like it's worth it to everybody to be signed up because you get something from Tracy that no one else is getting, and the person who's helping her provide it is super excited to help provide it because it's the inner circle, you know, not like, oh crap, well I got stuck in the plus ultra side, not just the opposite, like, oh yeah, you can't even get my stuff unless you're already signed up, you know. And have it be the same on their side, or at least a tip of the hat to them in that regard, you know. That's I like these ideas a lot. So
yeah, thank you.
So I'm gonna look again at the plus ultra list just to make sure here. Oh, I had members driving Patreon at the bottom, and that kind of seems to go with, you know, every week we say, hey, sign up, and I'm excited to go and click on whatever you're posting recently. I still love the idea of me helping you with reading audio. I know you said that that's something that you would prefer to do, and I'm glad to do that. I was thinking to at least start with writing a series on paralleling, because I did that one interview with Jesse Waugh, and just start to write out some blog posts that are still giving examples and going into more depth and detail. And if you want, I mean, I would put those on the plus ultra side, or put them kind of like people do with their other content, make it so that, like a news article, you know, the first 5 or 6 paragraphs are up front, and if you want the rest of it, you got to jump in and, you know. So that's something I've been considering, you know.
The other thing, some of the other things we talked about, and you know, that we've talked about in private, we can start working on now. But these things, I think, some things involve a little bit of investment up front. This is really the direction we need to go in. You know, we need to be, I think, eventually offering stuff in print. I know I've got a few books in print, and I can do more books in the same manner, but I'd like to try a different approach with the publishing of the books this time. And also, you know, we talked about having like a direct mail list.
Yeah, yeah.
Like magazine, or at least some kind of catalog.
Yeah,
or
start with a newsletter and progress into the return of Dagobert's Revenge, something like that, you know, or the Revenge of Dagobert's Revenge. But I mean, all kidding aside, yeah, I was thinking of that earlier too when we were talking about all of this other stuff. Okay, so in my brain, the worst case scenario is not just that YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all the most popular platforms clamp down and become suckier and suckier to where we can't really effectively use them, but that it becomes so bad that you're not even functionally able to use the internet. So ideally, we would be using the U.S. mail service, right? Let's mail each other things, not just us sending stuff out, but have a P.O. box that we can receive information back from our fans, hard copy, and that way if things aren't, you know, say everything gets knocked down and moved around, at least you can count on your postcard coming and find the new secret passcode to get back to where the content is lodged and encoded, you know, something like that.
Okay, well, I have a P.O. box, and I am sending you the link to where it is listed, and I can go ahead and just tell people. 9208 Northeast Highway 99, number 107-363, Vancouver, Washington, 98665. And, you know, you can send anything legal. Anything non-threatening, you know, and or if you want to send it for the other 2 guys on the show, go ahead, and I will forward it or show it to them, whichever is appropriate, and we'll bring it up on future episodes if you like.
Yeah, and we, of course, everybody loves the idea of getting something in the mail, so.
Well, I like the idea of getting something other than unpayable bills in the mail.
Yeah.
So that's usually, I actually have a really hard time forcing myself to go to the mailbox, because in my house I have this pile of mostly medical bills some of them, a lot of them, I don't even open because I know I'm not going to be paying that anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I end up having this huge stack of mail, and it makes me not want to go to the mailbox. But if I know that something that I like is coming, it kind of takes the sting away a little bit, you know, and it makes me want to go look in the mailbox again.
Yeah,
So
I can't tell you how.
Make the mailbox great again.
Yeah, make the mailbox great again.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. I was just saying that before I filed bankruptcy about 3 years ago, I felt the same way. Like it was such a mind f, you know, to like, you go get your mail and it's just like this burden of debt. And I want to encourage everyone who's listening to this to forgive yourself whatever debts you've accrued and don't beat yourself up, man. It's okay. We're all out here in the same boat. You're not alone with your hundreds of thousands of dollars or however much it might be. There's lots and lots of us out here silently suffering with you. So, you know, don't be so hard on yourselves because it sucks. I know. I'm so glad. I was telling Jem the other day that when I finally opened a regular bank account again, it was a pain in the ass, and it didn't really want to work. And in the process of doing it, the guy at the credit union was really encouraging me that he wanted to help me, you know, rebuild my credit. And I politely told him no. And he's like, well, what are you going to do? Like, just go out of pocket for 2 or 3 years or something? And I'm like, yeah, dude, your credit score is just like evidence that you're an excellent debtor. And I wasn't a very good debtor the first time. That's why I filed bankruptcy. So I don't want any evidence that I'm an excellent debtor being built up in my name right now. But thanks, I appreciate it. And he like it all. I think it clicked in his head. Like he realized what he's actually selling. And I think, you know, like it's not a good product to sell, folks. You know, like selling debt at graduating interest is like literally the root of all evil. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah, the what do you call them? The users. I
Yeah,
think,
usurers. Yeah.
Dante put them in the 7th circle of hell. With
Right.
the sodomites.
Yeah, sodomites and usurers are in the same circle of hell. Exactly. That's.
I think usury is usually way worse, but it depends on whether the sodomy is consensual or not. But yeah.
Well, unfortunately, oftentimes it's not. That's true. People don't think about that. But, well, E. Michael Jones, the zealous Catholic author, he wrote a book called Barren Metal, and he talks about how both the reason, he explains why they're both in that circle of hell, and it's because they both take something natural and invert it. So sodomy takes the act of creation of a newborn, or, you know, of conception, and reverses it so that it makes it barren. The act is barren. And the usury and interest at high rates and graduating rates take something that doesn't reproduce and causes it to reproduce. So I've always found that fascinating, you know. I'm sure.
Oh, it's like the anal homunculus.
Yep, it is. Exactly, yeah. That's a book I haven't read, but his books are expensive because there's, like, I'm sure he's having as hard a time publishing as anyone else, and they're huge tomes. Like, I want to buy some of E. Michael Jones' books. I've bought some of his, like, smaller Kindle books or whatever for, you know, $3 or $12, but, like, Barren Metal and, let's see, The Jewish Revolutionary Spirit is another really popular but really controversial book talking about, he explains his theory on why he thinks that the Jews are behind revolutionary things, and how it doesn't have to do with DNA, but it has to do with rejecting Jesus and the Logos. And so it's pretty interesting. But they're like $60 or $80 each. You know, they're really expensive books. So I will get them one day, but it's not going to be today. I'm going to run to the bathroom. You take over here for him for a second, Jimmy.
Oh, I was just going to say the same thing.
Oh.
Well, Jimmy, not it.
All right. So, Jim.
I just had to run upstairs and put my dog out. He's got a cough. He I think he caught a cold when I took him to the kennel over Christmas when I went on vacation for a week. So he's kennel cough, yeah. Had to get him some antibiotics and stuff. So
poor puppy.
Yeah, been coughing all night, but he's doing better now. I think it's been a couple days of antibiotics for the dog.
Good.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going on with my cat. My cat got sick too.
Oh,
she didn't
no.
go to the kennel.
Is she an inside and outside cat?
No, there's no logical explanation for it. I don't know what happened. I blame the chemtrails.
Yeah.
The chemtrails were really, really weird this morning. I took a bunch of pictures of it. It's stuff I've described before of the, like the white lines turn bright pink in the morning, and they're in exact contrast to the sky.
I didn't notice the chemtrails, but I wonder if there were less of them during the government shutdown.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting thing, and I don't think we even know that the government is what's paying for this, right?
I don't,
because it could be anything, but yeah, like is the shutdown paying for chemtrails right now?
Yeah, I mean, I heard that after 9/11, when they shut down the airspace for like a month or something, that there were like no chemtrails for during that time, but. I wasn't paying attention to chemtrails back then, so I never got to really find out for sure. But
man,
I noticed that whenever there's a astrological phenomena like the blood moon, like it was really clear up until the night that the blood moon eclipse happened, and then it was all chemtraily and couldn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of strange.
Didn't that happen when you went and observed the eclipse in person, Tracy?
Yes. And it happens actually every time. He's right. Every time there's a celestial event of any sort, there's massive chemtrailing in all of the populated areas, and it's just like you can see it in the morning, and at sunset. You can see them all clustered around where the sun is, and then they start working on another cluster to where the sun's about to be. So you can see they're just working on it all day long, following the track of the sun and putting these streams in front of it. And, I wonder, like, how much is this contributing to the fact that everyone's freezing their ass off right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, back to the polar vortex. I was trying to find one of the satellite images that they put up on the news, because one of those kind of gave me a feeling, but I didn't really trace the process down. If you guys know what I mean, like it started to trigger something in a correlation in my brain or something, and I didn't, so maybe we'll have to come back to that next week or something and take a look at what give ourselves a week to ruminate and see what we think the hidden symbology behind the polar vortex stuff is. Maybe check out Polarization Nation. I'm sure he threw some synchronicity up there on it. Because he's wacky guy. If you need to run, Tracy, we've got you covered. You're fine.
Okay.
I feel so much better now. So I know what we should do, Jim.
Yeah. I noticed last summer that I was wondering if they were trying to save money with the chemtrails, but it was like a 3-day cycle where we'd have one day that was really clear, and then the next day they'd start spraying chemtrails about noon or 1 o'clock, and then the day after that it was all white skies and sort of like even smoggy, and then it would clear out over that next night, and then the next day it'd be clear again.
Get us back to regular cam here.
And that happened like all summer.
I remember you pointing it out because I wasn't really noticing. Like I noticed the chemtrails sometimes, but like I kind of conscientiously like there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm not gonna brood on this,
Yeah.
But I've tried to discourage myself from that because of you pointing it out. Like something's happening in the sky. Don't ignore it.
Yeah.
And, you can acknowledge it. Like, well, I'm powerless over this, so it's okay. But I shouldn't just block it out 100% and not look up.
And I really noticed it on the days that I would drive to Portland for work. We don't really have it as bad. It seems like here, because there'd be like a few chemtrails across the sky, and but it wouldn't be like when I drive to Portland. It'd be a blue sky, but like 27 different individual chemtrails across the sky, and it was really blatantly heavier over the city of Portland than it was over our sort of more rural area.
And check that out. Yeah, I agree. I've definitely noticed it's way heavier in any city I drive into, even up to Spokane. And I know Spokane's weird. It's hard to tell, but when it's a big, beautiful day, they've got the whole sky X'd out up there.
Which
And
one?
Lavarella 8. They don't have chemtrails in Israel, I'll tell you that. Or most of Europe, actually. Now, that's fascinating.
Huh, I've never heard that.
That's,
Yeah, I think so.
it doesn't surprise me.
The spray might be to create a backdrop for holographic psyops.
Yep,
Like Project
ionizing the
Blue
air.
Man.
Sorry, ionizing the atmosphere defense purposes. That's what I've thought too.
Yeah, when you ionize the air, stuff like radar works a lot better, supposedly, I think.
Oh, that's the guy James True. One of his interviews I just listened to. He said that that it used to be that they would have to ping off of the is it the ionosphere? Is that where the
think so,
AM
yeah.
AM waves bounce back from? And he said that they used to have to ping and make sure they're getting a signal, but now there's so much noise that they don't have to do that anymore. That it's just like the sky is turned on all the time. You don't have to calibrate or find your reference in.
Must be all those satellites, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, in case you're
Blanket
new
of
to
satellites.
our show because of Tracy, first and foremost, of course, welcome. But Jem and I, the whole reason we fired this show up was because April 1st, 2018, I went and debated J.F. Garapi about the flat Earth on Andy Worski's show. So Jem and I are both pretty adamant about the flat Earth. But we don't preach it all the time like all of the paid shills that are out flat earthing all day every day for money, in my opinion. Like most of the flat earth movement is still like a psyop in my opinion, but I've definitely seen no evidence of actual curvature, just to be clear. That was the satellite joke.
Yeah.
They're not up there, man. There's no satellites.
And also known as, I think that they have used the chemtrails in the sky as a screen to project onto. If you've ever seen those videos of the city that was visible in the sky over China
Yeah.
at some points, and that's pretty. I think that was just them testing the laser equipment, the holographic equipment. I've heard that they've got it mounted on semi trucks, like a semi trailer, and they can take them wherever they want to and project stuff like, Allah up in the sky saying, "Put down your guns."
I want to commission my brother Adam to draw this. A projection of Allah in the sky insisting everyone put down their guns.
Yeah.
So are you allowed to draw Allah?
Well, you can hologram him.
Well, I mean, they to me, that's always really funny if you tell someone they can't do something.
Yeah.
Like, people are capable of doing things. You can have a really high preference that they don't. You can't say that they can't.
Weren't you
You
telling
can't
me
say
that
Tracy can't eat that red microphone cover. Well,
Then I say, well, make me not do it.
right, I've always explained this to teenage boys who aren't doing very well in school. Like, no one can force you to pass high school, but you'll probably be happier if you put in a little effort and do it.
Yeah.
Your peer group's gonna change if you don't do it. And it doesn't mean you'll be smarter or that it'll be good either, but you should probably still go ahead and do it.
Were you telling me that there's some Nikes that they put Allah on the sole?
Yeah, we saw it. It was like somebody mentioned it in something we were listening to, or it was in a headline, like Nike's under pressure because they like wrote Allah on the sole of like the insert of some shoes or on the bottom of the shoes. Like that's not an accident, folks. What are you doing?
Are you sure it's not an accident?
That's an inflammatory mistake.
I can't imagine. Like, oh yeah, we printed Jesus in the inside of your shoes, so when you're walking, he'll be right under your feet. Like, oh, thanks.
Lifting you up, huh?
Yeah, I've seen some things that looked a lot like the way Allah is written in Arabic, and I'm pretty sure that they weren't meant to be that way. But I did a double take and noticed, So I wonder if that's what's going on with a lot of these instances And it's interesting, we just went into some territory where I have a video that I've been working on about this subject. Are you aware of just all the things in the world in which Muslims have thought they saw the word Allah? There's a huge phenomenon here.
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not always just to be offended. Like, a lot of times they see this and they think it's a miracle. You know, this is Allah putting his seal on his creation.
Right, like Jesus being in a piece of toast.
Yes, and so, I mean, I have a collection of these things, and I can send you some of the ones that I have I have a secret little playlist here. But basically, there's tons of things where, like, they'll see it in fruit or on the side of a fish is one of the videos I have.
I think I saw that one.
And then there's the hearing animals say Allah.
Oh, wow.
Now, this is the...
Jesus is
it's usually an animal being hurt, it looks to me. Like, there's one of a cat being given a shower, and it's going... and they think it's saying a lot, and then all the comments are like, "You're hurting that cat." But there's just a ton of videos like this, and I enjoy watching them. Here, I'm gonna send you a cat saying Allah right now, just to show you. And you know, unless they're actually severely abusing an animal, like cats don't like having baths. It doesn't mean they're being abused. Unless they're actually severely abusing the animal, I find it humorous.
Jim, you're gonna have to share that one too. Jim just found something that is just shocking in the similar vein. Just shocking.
I'll send it.
Like, it would be bad enough what Jim just found. Like, if you didn't know, if you were completely inept to all this weird crap that we study, but knowing the things that we know because of reading this book. Like, whoa.
I've seen that one before.
Okay, yeah, so I gotta go up here. Well,
You're gonna put it in the.
I will, but I'm gonna do Tracy's first because
Yeah,
we gotta go in the. Your media will be played in the order in which it was received. Hold on. Wait, kitty, wait. We gotta get the media exam cam flying here. I tried to name all of my little tabs to choose things kind of like David Letterman. So if I go back to shared commentary and then click on the media exam cam, that should get us a cat that is allegedly saying Allah. So here we go.
They're mocking it.
Oh God, it goes on for a minute and 30 seconds. Allah save that cat. Oh,
Yeah, I know.
the poor thing. That's, of course, if you keep spraying the cat with water and mimic it and insisting it mimic something, it's gonna mimic it. If it doesn't want to be sprayed with water.
Yeah. Poor cat.
They're lucky that cat didn't shred them.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Then it's declawed.
So let's see. So I don't know if you guys can see this in the chat or
Oh,
not.
it looks like it's gonna be there. There it is.
Yeah, so it says, look closely, forgive me, but does anyone else see Jesus? So if you're new to this content or haven't heard, there is, well, what's the horrible name of this kiss, Tracy? It's the
the osculum infame.
Osculum infame is a rite of passage into which is Sabbath. It's a rite of passage into various groups. One of them is where you have to kiss the butthole of a cat or a goat. We even found one where you have to kiss the butthole of a pug. So yeah, this there is definitely a 2 or 3 layer occult meaning to this meme. And yeah, it does kind of look like Jesus. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to just us.
Thank you.
Oh, here's a cat that won't walk on the Quran. Just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can roll with this for a minute here. So I've always got to do it this way. Twitter DMs are weird. Get back.
There it is.
Have you guys ever prayed with your animals?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's pretty interesting.
Maybe they sprayed the Quran with something. Cat repellent.
That's possible, but I mean, I also see cats as being very intuitive also of, you know, I mean, cats can read your vibes and your, like, that's how they, like you said, Tracy, that's how they totally get you to do whatever the hell they want, you know, other than infecting you with a virus that literally takes over your mind and makes you fall in love with them. But I think the cat could feel your vibrations well enough to know that your intention changed for the second book.
Mm-hmm.
And that you also supplied the food, so I shouldn't step on that one or whatever, you know?
Is that the same cat in this next clip? Or in the next scene?
I don't know. Are we gonna pick this thing apart like prying open an onion?
I think it's fake.
It probably is fake.
It's fake.
You know,
We're just trying to make money.
Muslims are not immune to wanting views on YouTube. That does look like definitely a different cat, Jim. Let's watch the second experiment with the second cat. I kind of want to sample this music and make a Plus Ultra picture show song. So let's what? Go ahead.
Oh, you were talking about the mind-altering parasite, and they put it in the news again. It's like robot sex. They do this like every couple weeks or so, you know?
Yeah.
And anyway, so it's in the daily news, and I looked at it today, and I thought it was so funny because I think I just sent it to you too. What's funny about it is the comments. Like, you know, I read the article. It's all the same stuff that we've already talked about. And it says half the population, the Earth's population, has this disease, right? So then you go, the top comment has changed a little bit, but still, I'm sure if you thumb through, what I noticed was like the top comments were all like, "Oh, that's such a cute cat in the picture."
Of course, yeah. Just proof that our zombification is complete, right?
Yes. And then there was other people were like, "How can you think that's cute? You know, these things are vermin. They're disgusting."
Yeah, that's.
It's like, "Oh, it's so cute."
That's one thing I would say about way back in the day when I was first studying the Hegelian dialectic, and that leads to the communitarian stuff I'm always babbling about. I never imagined then, because I mean the basic premise is like, okay, they're gonna polarize everybody into groups. And then that makes you easier to control and or easier to make you argue or eventually go to war even, right? You know, like they polarize everybody first, and then they can get you in your little separate echo chambers. And then if they want to, they can inflame your emotions by making you disagree. And, you know, and of course lots of people nowadays are talking about the idea that we might actually have a hot civil war, right? Like people might mount up in arms, like God forbid they do something like assassinate Trump. I could see it very easily potentially leading to real war. But I never imagined how many things they could potentially polarize people on. Like whether or not we're brainwashed by cats.
Yeah.
Whether or not the earth is flat or hollow or a sphere.
What is it, Laurel or...
Yeah, Laurel, Yanni.
Yanni.
Laurel, you know, who hears Laurel? Who hears Yanni? Are you a Republican or a Democrat? Are you pro-abortion or against it? Are you for the black folks or the white folks? And it doesn't end like...
Yeah, man, woman.
Yeah, male, female, or neither.
Yeah. I've seen some pretty interesting Venn diagrams that they have where they can pretty much divide you over all those questions, and they're, you know, just big circles that overlap.
Yeah.
Where you're at, and I think that's what they do for marketing and for
They do.
Surveillance. They put everybody into a different group that makes it easier to predict your behaviors and, you know, to run the sentient world simulation.
The avatar of all avatars.
Yeah.
I saw Steve Outram said that after a certain number of likes on Facebook, they can predict a whole bunch of stuff about you. It was like 41 or 91 or something. And then he said after not too much bigger of a number, like it was like 40 or 50, and then like up to 120 or 150, like they know more about your decision-making process than yourself or your girlfriend. Like you know, based on less than 200 Facebook likes, they're like, oh, this category only. That Sean fits in this one, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the way marketing's always been. They've just made it way more aggressive and faster with all this data mining. But if you go study old direct marketing like Dan Kennedy and the Tony Robbins types, that's what they were always doing. You make a list. You had to be way more careful about building your marketing list for direct marketing because it costs a lot of money to buy paper and envelopes and send letters and all the postage and the hassle of it. So they would really hone down what they thought would work. And the more they did it, the more information they got. Well, now it's like a bullet train of marketing. Speaking of marketing, I think we need to move into merch. I've got merch on my little list here, and let's see what I had. T-shirts, hats, leggings. Tracy already has some leggings. We should find the link for that and stick it up there in case somebody wants some Plus Ultra leggings.
Oh yeah, good idea.
I seriously considered buying a pair and wearing them, but I'm not there yet. I also put tracing boards because I don't know if you want to go back to that or not, but I know you have an awesome design that people probably would be interested to purchase if we like had it laser etched or whatever, you know.
I mean,
Talking about the Ouija board?
Yeah. Well, I guess a tracing board is something. Tracing board would be cool too to like make our own proprietary Masonic tracing board that's actually Plus Ultra Picture Show.
They could be Tracy boards.
Yeah, I'll call them Tracy boards. I agree. That's awesome. Or we could just get some rough cut lumber and sell them as Tracy boards.
When I was in 5th grade, there was a boy who wanted to make fun of me, but he couldn't think of what to say. And so he said, "Tracy, why don't you go trace yourself?" I remember that it was so ridiculous I couldn't even be offended. I just laughed at him. Everyone else did too.
That
So
makes
yeah,
me,
we do the Tracy.
That makes me want to do it. We should do it. That's something else we could sell. We could have Tracy lay down, and we'll get colored chalk or paint or whatever.
Life-size tracings
and
of Tracy.
trace yourself, and then we'll roll it up in a tube and mail it to you. Only $99 for a Tracy Drive and Trace Yourself poster. Originals are expensive, but you can get a print for cheap.
Yeah, we could make fathead stickers out of them and put them on the wall like those athletes that kids buy for their bedroom. They call them fatheads. Is what
The log lady, yeah, definitely. We could, if you guys really want to get your finger out for some merchandise, I'm sure for the right amount of money, we could get Tracy to dress up as the log lady from Twin Peaks and take photography and then sign it with like a metallic ink pen and mail it to you. But it's going to cost a lot of money.
I haven't seen that. Who's the log lady?
She's just a character in Twin Peaks that always is carrying a log around like an infant child, and she's like a weirdo, like a little old lady with her glasses like this, and the log talks to her, and then the log has something to say to you. I'll interpret. Like she divines information.
It's like Mr. Hat from South Park.
Yeah, kind of similar.
Okay.
So, We're because Twin Peaks on Twitter was ranting so much. I mean, Occult fan on Twitter was ranting so much about Twin Peaks that I decided to say screw it and bought the audiobook on Audible of The Secret History of Twin Peaks, which is written by the co-creator of the show. And so now me and my girlfriend are rewatching all of the original Twin Peaks after having heard most of the audio. So there's all this in-depth insider information, and it like colors the entire series and makes it make more sense in a way and makes it more confusing in other ways. So it's a good time, and I'm glad that you posted that stuff up there, Occult fan. It makes it more fun. Yeah, have you never heard of that book, Tracy?
No. Oh yes, I have. I have heard it. I just have not read it. I've heard of it.
It's like a reference book almost. It's like it's not a truly linear story. It's like they have this hard to open secret case that they found, and they open it up, and there's a whole dossier of files and like papers clipped together and different characters all. So it's like there's an investigator. It makes me think of Pamela Auger. That's why I digressed right now. It made me imagine you as the person who, like, you know, your character as the person who found the case, and they're like rifling through, doing their research, trying to discover more information. It talks about like Thelemites and Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard and all this, like deeper and farther than you would expect, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It really crosses right over into the stuff that we do, you know. So it's fun. Let me.
Yeah. Good.
I was just going to make sure I didn't miss anything. Wall art, jewelry, coins. That was the other things on my list. I love the idea of making especially your there is more beyond that symbol that you had designed by the artist. Your mountain, you know, your Mount Analog symbol. I love the idea of making that into coinage, real coinage, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely want to do some coins.
And
Absolutely. What about exclusive art movies? And what I mean by that is we make an art movie of some sort, a few minutes long or whatever, and only sell it to one person.
wow.
And it could be inside of something else that plays it, like a Teddy Ruxpin sort of thing, some kind of sculpture or object. Basically, well, okay, I've looked into this, how you could, I figured out several different ways of doing this, and I've been thinking about it for a while. So, but I just don't know if there's a, you know, if people want that, but
Oh, they
I would
do.
want it. It's the sort of thing that
they
if I
do.
thought of it, it means it's something I would buy from somebody.
Oh, no,
Sorry,
like,
I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, I was just agreeing that this is, I mean, that made my little hairs in the back of my neck tingle. Like the idea that you get, and it wouldn't have to just be video, but I love the idea of like, say we get a stuffed Smurf, and we get him to hold an old-fashioned AM/FM TV receiver, right? And you get it, and you turn the TV on, and it's a movie that either all three of us or two of us or one of us made that's like 33 minutes of exclusive content just for you, you know, and it's expensive because we have to produce one of a kind only just for you, but then that's it, you know, like that's the bee's knees, the Naz, as they say. So that would be amazing. I love this idea.
Well, when I was 5, my dad got me something for Christmas that was a robot, and it was battery operated, and it would walk across the carpet and stuff. It also would shoot missiles, out of its head. But the coolest thing was that it had a screen on its stomach and a little tiny film playing inside, and it would loop, so it was only like a couple minutes long. But it was a film of the robot walking across the surface of an alien planet.
I remember those things.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember. Okay, a couple of boys that were like in the neighborhood, you know, they were neighbors' kids in the same age. They came over and hung out that night. And when I showed them the robot, they wanted to make popcorn and sit there and watch the movie. And then they did.
That's great. To me, that's worth like making a high quality painting of, right, Jim? Like that would be. I would actually get motivated to spend more than one day on a painting if it was two little kids with popcorn staring at a little tiny screen on a robot that's got rockets shooting out of its head. Like, that's great. And the chat is just blowing up right now, Tracy. If people are asking that, they're pretty much saying, take my money on that idea. Like, how much are you going to charge for this thing? Like, we're already getting inquiries. The answer to any question like that, folks, is that it depends. We would have to sit down and determine scope and scale of any particular project and get you a quote. So if you're really interested, if you want the robot, you have a specific idea of a one-of-a-kind project just for yourself, describe it to us. Send it to either that P.O. box or send it to my email. Or
write it in the comments after the show publishes.
Yeah, write it after the show publishes and give us a way to contact you. And Jem and I can sit down along with Tracy and we can work up some vague idea. We really don't know. We'd have to know what we're getting, how long and how hard it's going to be for us to modify it, what we're doing. But that doesn't mean we can't do it. We are excited to do it. So we'd love to get you some quotes and move forward with any one of these projects.
We can pretty much do anything, I think, within certain reasons.
Speak for yourself, man.
Well, we've got your back, Tracy.
Yeah.
We can do everything, okay.
So here we go. Now we're finally reaching some personal boundaries. Like, I don't know what "we" means, but you guys need to shut up. Well, we can make a 12-foot bronze Yogananda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a ton of crazy ideas for that specific thing. I've been brainstorming for a while about that. So, but obviously, yes, a specific request I would consider also. And I think, ideally, okay, if a person does have a request, well, it's probably not something too specific, right? It could just be sort of a creative prompt for us to go off of.
I'd say the more micromanaged and specific, the more expensive it's going to be. I mean, that's just the way that goes.
That's how it works.
That's not me being picky on anybody. That's just the nature of ordering commissioned custom art. If I want Jem to sculpt me something and I give him vague guidelines, I can probably get a reasonable quote and a reasonable delivery time, especially if it's not too big. But if I come up with this unbelievable, like, I want you to do exactly this specific thing, I want David Lynch from this scene in the TV show, from this angle, in these colors, etc., the price just goes through the roof that way. So, I mean, if you got the money, we're glad to do it.
Definitely doable, yeah.
Yeah, it's just way harder to take someone else's vision and make it into reality when you get a laundry list of details. It's not bad, it's just that it's like you're doing the Spock mind meld with your customer when you do that. So,
well, we can make some sketches and for approval.
Yeah, you end up making proofs. That's why the price goes through the roof, because you end up going back and forth with proofs and art. You end up with piles of shit that works and shit that doesn't work.
Any rules? Any ground rules? Like, I would say no nudity for myself.
No
if you want
nudity.
someone else to be nude, that's fine. If you want to make if you want a naked Teddy Ruxpin, that's fine. But not me.
No personal nudity.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of lean away from things that are just inherently disgusting in general.
Color, yeah.
Like, I don't want to make like a pooping Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah. I wouldn't be pleased to.
No scatological situations.
I mean, this is classic art here.
Yeah.
And he's hiking up his leg and flashing you and standing on a kid's severed head. So, I mean, this is in museums and stuff.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. For the right price, I will emulate that. I will duplicate that pose for the right price, but it's not a low price. It's a high price. Just to be clear, $1,111 is not enough.
Really?
Well, that would be. I gotta admit though, that would be great if you like made Hermes standing there like that with a TV under his arm, and on the TV it was just me stepping up onto the head naked and trying to emulate it with the caduceus over and over again. If that was the tape loop, that'd be good. I mean, I could.
I think you have to have wings on your feet to make this work, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of which, did I have in any of the videos that you've seen that I've produced, have I ever explained the thing about the website that speculates about Mercury having feet on his head instead of wings?
No.
No, I've never heard of this. Please go.
I'm gonna see if it still exists. It's the sort of thing that might have disappeared by now. And if it has, then I know I've saved it somewhere. But reason why I asked if it was mentioned in any of the videos, I know I used some of the images in one of my videos, but I can't remember if I actually explained anything about it. I think it's just a joke. I think this website is just supposed to be funny. And the reason why I found it, is because I noticed that in some of the depictions of Hermes in ancient art, the wings on his head, sometimes they really look like feet. And so I just thought, I'll Google this just to see if anyone else has noticed that. And sure enough, I found like a whole website all about it. Entire fucking website.
Of course.
About Hermes having feet on his head. So, I'll try to find it here. And while I'm doing that, feel free to move on to another topic.
No, I was Googling it too, but I guess I can wait. Well, I can keep looking at the list. So because I want these ideas out there, not because we're going to solve the problem tonight. I anticipate us three and everyone that's in our kind of closer groups, people that we've private messaged with, plus all of the other fans out there, use this as an excuse to contact us more. Use this as an excuse to sign up for mine and Jem's $2 Patreon, and use it like who's the guy? Snake Jones? Snake Jones did something amazing. He went on our Patreon and he posted pictures of runes that he made during listening to our broadcast, because episode 33 we did sculpt him in painting while Tracy was reading, and it inspired him to make art, and so he made these runes.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And so that's awesome. We want to be more directly engaged with you guys, and we want to brainstorm all this stuff out there so something sticks, and it gives you an excuse to say to us that you like it or you hate it, or that you want to jump into the game and participate in it or whatever. So under the on location is one of the things I put, and I just had museums, graveyards, shopping, the courthouse, the river, Mount Hood, etc., etc. So, like, to me, it doesn't have to be all three of us on location. Say Tracy and I agree that we want to send Jem on location to the courthouse for RX Only Picture Show, and just see what happens, or if we can afford it or we fund it to all. Like, I love the idea of the three of us meeting at Mary Hill Museum, because it's almost perfectly between our two locations. And it's an amazing place. The story of Sam Hill and his wife Mary Hill are fascinating, and I've been there a few times. It's a really unique museum in Washington State.
I could sit in the courtroom with my whisper voice, like the People's Court, commenting on the things that go on there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love that idea, People's Court. So that goes in the secret file. Well, I was thinking we could get you the glasses that allow you to surveil the court secretly, but,
Like Google glasses?
Well, just the little surveillance camera. You already wear kind of nerd-style glasses anyway, so...
I used to have some spy sunglasses when I was a kid that I sold candy bars all summer to win off the prize sheet.
Yeah, awesome.
And you could see behind you with them. It was pretty sweet.
You managed to win the damn spy glasses?
Yeah.
If you can sell that many candy bars, we need to get some product in and get it
I think
moving.
I sold 14 boxes. It's quite a bit.
Wow, dude, that's so much candy.
Yeah.
Okay, Tracy, well, do you want me to try and put it up on the screen too?
Yes. Okay, so I sent you the pictures that I have, which I saved from the website as it used to be. So I sent that through Twitter. And then you'll notice the website is feetonhead.com. And when you go to feetonhead.com now, instead of the website that used to be there,
what happened?
It just forwards you to
this. Is that must be your site, huh?
I think that's the cat walking on the Quran.
Oh
video.
yeah, because I'm in the DMs. I hate this. Well, I'm just trying to get to the top of them so I don't do that again.
So anyway.
Yeah, see, that's me. Stop it.
Can you delete it? Delete the throw the trash. Throw that one picture in the trash.
How annoying.
Board operator. That's we need to get an intern
You're an engineer,
from like
yeah.
high school or something. Be our board operator.
I think she's trying to demote me, Jim.
You're trying to do too many things at once, don't you think?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I love the idea of having my own version of Robin, so that I could be more like Howard Stern.
Oh.
That was a joke.
Isn't she actually the producer?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gotta try this again. Now I'm scared.
Me too. So I've not seen the film. Like when you go to feedonhead.com now, it directs you to this YouTube, which I've never seen. There used to be a website with a bunch of pictures on it.
See, I wish it would let me scroll through that. Okay, well, I'm gonna get this one shared because this is a great place to start.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not seeing what you're.
Oh, here, let me
showing.
share screen with you too, Tracy, just so that we're all in the same place. Share screen. And there we go. So here's this guy kind of looks like Robert Downey Jr. We've got apparently Hermes with feet coming out of his head here. Apparently he's going to need some surgery, or maybe he's just like Michael Jackson. He's having a hard time sleeping, so these guys are going to help him get some rest. Now, you said that the website changed, Tracy? That it was these pictures and you saved them and now it just forwards you to a video?
A video, but I presume that maybe the pictures are from the video. Because the video itself is also 9 years old, which is that's as old as the website was that I saw like a couple years ago. So I think he just probably didn't want to pay for hosting anymore, so now he just forwards you to the YouTube video that the whole thing is based on in the first place, would be my guess. And I've never seen the video, but that's probably what it's all about. Is a little art movie that's a joke about Hermes having feet on his head.
So this one looks a lot like it's like a
Leonardo.
mockery of a Leonardo drawing, absolutely, right?
Yeah, I think he just added feet onto the Leonardo drawing.
Oh, I want somebody to
Pretty nice Photoshop job.
animate this so that they're walking around with the feet that are sticking out of their head.
Well, maybe that's in the movie. I've not seen the movie yet.
You know that joke, you're built upside down, your nose runs and your feet smell?
I've never heard that before.
That's what it makes me think of.
Oh, the show is evolving. Jim told a joke when I wasn't running to the bathroom. So let's go one more up here. This is funny. So that's it. No.
Is that the one? Just go scroll up and delete that one.
Yeah, if I do that, it turns on automatically. That's why I hate Twitter DMs,
Oh.
because they embed impossibly. Like, do you want to just try and watch the video, Tracy?
That's what I thought we were doing. Or that we were leading up to that.
Well, I'm trying to.
Now, I can't vouch for anything here. I haven't seen it yet, but I assume it's PG-13.
Well, yeah,
Hopefully.
it's on YouTube. You said so. So it's just feedonhead.com. I'm just gonna Google it so we don't have to hear that a la cat music anymore.
That'd be fine. The a la cat music.
Yes, I meant feedonhead.com. Thank you. All right, let's see if this works.
I wonder if anyone's ever recorded cats singing the whole Quran. Because you know how you can actually sing it like a song?
Yeah.
I'll bet you could get cats to sing the Quran if you auto-tune them.
That's a good point.
We're gonna get a fatwa. I didn't mean to get a fatwa.
Right?
But
It's not
that's what's
right,
gonna
is
happen.
it?
Feetonhead.com.
That's what I did.
He's got an upside down heart on his head, or is that a spade?
There, feetonhead.com. Oh, no, this should be right.
Nope, that's the wrong thing. Nope. It's you need to type it into the URL part because you're doing a Google search on it instead. And Google is sending you here, which is wrong. Or you could give up. I mean,
No, I'm not anywhere near
That's
giving
it.
up.
9 years ago.
but I would just type it into the.
No, it forwarded me to this one. Okay, so this is
No,
right.
but you typed it into a search box, and then you searched as though it was a search term. And so it's searching for feet on head, not feetonhead.com. Because it's saying, did you mean feet on head? That's probably what you meant.
Well, there, now I have
There
it.
you go. See?
https://www.feetonhead.com.
18 subscribers. Does that make you feel better?
I think we should all use that as the excuse to feel great this 37th episode of Arc's Only Picture Show featuring Plus Ultra. And of course, now the browser hangs. Wah, wah.
I really hope this is worth it.
Well, we can always glance back at the chat here. Oh, and I could. There was one other category there. I can't believe it's not actually loading up. This thing is mocking me. It's mocking me. I had a list of potential guests, but we don't have to read those out. I will,
That's fine. We'll scare them away.
well, yeah, one person I would love to get on. I definitely want Ilian Maybe back. Of course, we need to eventually.
I definitely want. Sorry.
I definitely want Maybe. And of course, when Alex Rivera is available someday, I think to do Baphomet Revisited, that's another thing I think would be well worth. Like even rehearsing, and that's funny. Safari can't open the page. No joke. We're not supposed to see this. We're a bridge too far.
What if I shared screens and played it?
You could try Chrome.
Yeah,
No.
go ahead. Here, let me stop screen sharing this way, and then I'll just go back to the Hangout tab, and that should work.
Okay.
So I'm gonna switch over to you.
Oh yeah, and I probably need to punch a button to make that happen, right?
Yeah, on the Hangout, it's in the top right, to the right of the settings wheel. I don't remember if it's the three little dots or whatever, but yeah.
And for you in the audience, remember to like, share, subscribe, or do.
Or do. And thank you for your patience as we try to get to feetonhead.com.
Okay, so do you see it? Do you
Nope.
see that I'm at YouTube?
Nope.
Okay. So you're not seeing my screen at all, is what you're saying?
Nope, I'm just still seeing you.
Okay. Oh, okay. I need to click this thing.
There you
There.
Yeah.
Yep, now I see me.
Now you see yourself,
God, I
and
look-
then
look dumb.
and then you see feet on head, right?
Yeah, now we see it. Okay.
Okay. Cool. All right. Now I don't know about the audio though. What happens? I don't know, but I'm gonna play it anyway.
It should work.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happens? You hearing anything?
No, I don't.
Are
think,
you?
I don't think we are.
Okay.
Why does that
Well-
audio work?
That's unfortunate. Should I play it anyway?
Oh, now we're hearing something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of looks like Mel Gibson there. Maybe not.
I guess there's no audio, but that's okay. We can do the same movie thing. Ooh, they move.
Those feet don't run.
Dog will hunt. Oh, they're gonna do surgery and take the feet off of his head.
They've got a foot sizer.
A foot scissors. Is they're crossed? That's really funny that they're crossed. So
It's a match.
You've never watched this, Tracy?
What?
You never watched this before?
No.
Is it a New Balance commercial? It is. It's a New Balance commercial.
So yeah, his feet on his mind.
Maybe the whole thing was just viral marketing from way back in the day. That's why they had
Wow.
There's another feet for hands, huh?
So that did give me an idea about something I forgot about till just now, that we could have private screening online where it's not published live anywhere, but that JEM, Tracy, and myself act like the Mystery Science 2000 hosts, and the audience can come in on the server or whatever, and we'll choose a film, you know, whether it be an old occult black and white film, or you know, I don't know if you guys have seen the old like 20s or early black and white silent movies. Some of them are like super occult themed and awesome. Like especially Metropolis is a masterpiece. But there's other
like
ones.
The Trip to the Moon. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, that one too. A Trip to the Moon is great.
Very cool.
But there's one like where they used an old war veteran who's got his legs amputated or something, and it like has wizards and black magicians and sorcerers and all kinds of stuff. But I like the idea of us all being able to sit together, commentate and watch a movie as a group.
That would be fun.
You know, and have that be exclusive, you know, something that you'd have to opt in, you know, B+Ultra. Or
buy your movie ticket.
Yeah, exactly. We could mail you a real ticket in the mail, and you have to hold it up to the camera to get in.
You get a ticket, some microwave popcorn.
Yeah, well, we could define what rituals are required and which are optional. Like, you don't have to eat the popcorn, but you do have to blank.
So when you were talking about the server, you're talking about like a Discord server or something?
Yeah. I mean, I also want the idea that we discussed before to have, to me, it would be better if it's where you're at. I don't know why I think that, but to have a server that is our source of everything, so that we have, you know, so that we own the watershed, so to speak, of where everything of our content is coming out of. And because the Mark Passio broadcast, he's simulcasting on YouTube, Facebook, and Vimeo all at once. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, I'm seeing it a lot with the people who are doing live shows, they're on stream.me and blank and blank. And I'm sure that there's people like would love to watch us on Twitch or something. I don't know how long we would last on Twitch. If we watch our language and be careful, maybe we could be popular on Twitch.
Yeah, so I mean, to have our own server is about $190. That's it. I mean, one time, just to have this piece of equipment. And yeah, I've already got one picked out. It's in my Amazon shopping cart. I just don't have the funds at the moment, but
well, there you go, folks.
Very much on my mind, like you know, that I want to do this, and there's a lot of things that I want to do live. I would just prefer to wait till I have the server, because I just want to do it on my own site and you know, to my own audience instead of involving YouTube or any other company.
Yeah, here. That's I am totally with that, and I like the idea of. I feel like JEM and I are in a great position to support you in at least getting back to where you were before you were hassled and had all this weird shit go on, because you were and you've described doing this more than once. You know, like you get up to a point where you're right on the cusp of breaking through and getting, you know, more grand success, and then shit goes sideways and you end up like spinning your wheels. I feel like if we can get you to that point, then we can excuse all kinds of things after that. But I feel like until we do that first, that we're like I was there and a party to you losing ground, and I want to see you back and better than where you were before we start to really focus on other parallel or joint venture syndicate type projects. I mean, I'll write my own blog eventually. I love the idea of putting up sites where you can commission JEM to be your sculptor if you want something sculpted, where we can make digital wall art or real paintings like the ones behind me here, all that stuff. But first, I wanna see Plus Ultra back where it was, where we can all post memes in secret and comment and LOL together.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, that'll be hopefully soon. And yeah, I agree about some of these things. It's like you just have none of them are outside of the realm of possibility. In fact, they're all each individual thing's doable, and a lot of them, you know, you can see how you would plot it out on a timeline. You have to do this and this and this first, and then by the time you're at that point, then the other stuff becomes easy. The point at which everything, not necessarily, it's never easy. Like being in business by yourself is never easy, and then being, you know, having a non-mainstream media source or being a non-mainstream media voice, that's never easy either. So it's not like I want it to be easy, but it's just that, you know, I can tell like people aren't getting what they want because they want it to be top, you know, they want the best that can be produced and as much volume as can be produced. And I know that the customer is still kind of frustrated, wishing that we could, you know, produce at that level, but obviously we don't have a staff yet. And so that's where it's at in my mind is like, okay, you know, we can do this, this, and this, but we'll really be rolling when we can, you know, not necessarily have a big full-time staff, but have funds available and people that we trust that we can work with.
Right.
To, you know, make things happen. Talked about like the Ray Kroc approach to video production of it'd be great if we had some people that, you know, would just focus on audio editing, would just focus on adding images to audio tracks that have already been produced, because then you've got an assembly line and you don't have to have one person, you know, focusing on, like, you know, right now I'm still working on part 3 of Minnie's Moose series. I have mini series that are, you know, that have a few episodes here and there. And it's really, this is the way to get that going. I like, if I could have, you know, some freelance editors to work with or something, because like, you know, I'm spending all this time working on ideas that I worked out several months ago, which I wouldn't mind, except I've just got so much more that I want to do. Right, you know, I've got other ideas burgeoning here, and I'm like, okay, well, if someone else can do that because I've already explained what I want, basically, then I could be working on something else, something new, and
that,
you know,
that brings me to another idea, because I agree, because it quenches new creativity when you because any project to get it all the way to completion or to decide it's good enough and publish or be done this is a challenge for any creative types, you know, to know when to stop the painting or when to say it's good enough, or to drag your ass back to finish it when you were so excited 3 days ago when you started it and now it's not done. You know, this is pretty normal. But I think we might be able to do more than just financial is a small bracket for how we can make exchange with this whole list of people in our chat. I mean, I know a whole bunch of them have input and value and things that they can do, and or they know people that can do these things, and we don't have to only exchange in money, but we have to make a architecture of what it means to exchange otherwise, because otherwise it's vague, and if it's vague what you're trading this for that, it makes it hard. So I have this list of pinned on my wall at home. It says 8 different kinds of currency, and it's talking about, you know, like obviously financial currency, but then you have like clout or respect in the community currency, you know, like a lot of, that's the joke for artists, right? Like, well, we can get you some exposure. Right. But then there's like six more that are all feasible, reasonable things, you know. So that's something we could bat around either after the show or in a private conversation of, you know, what in this category would be equal blank, you know, audio editing. Like that one fan, whoever did that for you and stuck up that awesome work of, you know, pulled the audio down and everything. That's great. I mean, I've gone over there to look at it. I would have downloaded one of them, except for my phone is so burdened that I started to do it like I can download this to listen to it on the road, and I'm like, I don't have enough space on my phone. But yeah, so the idea to add barter it's not off the table in my mind, but we definitely need to get real specific of what, to me, everything that's not money is going to be typically worth slightly less, you know. I mean, if you said it's 190 for the server?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's one-time cost, like go over to the store or order it and then you've got it, set it up, and bam, we're serving.
Yes, presuming that I can figure out how to use it, but from what I've absorbed so far, I think I can. And I was about to pay someone $200 to build one anyway, and I realized, oh, you could just buy it. So that's what I'm going to do.
Maybe we should start a
Again.
GoFundMe.
That's what I was thinking. We should, folks, this is like one of our core foundational things we've been talking about to start the process of taking full control of the content, especially specifically for Tracy to start, so that she experienced a really bad trip a few months back, and if you were around then you saw it. Like there was even to the point where we were kind of concerned, like, well, is not only is all the cool shit that we love from Tracy Twyman gone, but is Tracy Twyman okay? Because the digital shenanigans they pulled were so invasive and offensive that it just sucked. So if we can do this, if we can get $190 together as a group, and then it's kind of like finally putting to me it would be like the beginning of putting that whole issue to rest, you know. There's 33 people watching right now. I don't know what 190 divided by 33 is, but it's really just that simple. And you said you've got it already bookmarked and everything, so definitely drop me the link, and I'll
That's $5.75 a person.
yeah, for less than a cup of coffee, you could help Tracy Twyman and the members of RX Only Picture Show to preserve their content and prevent digital imprisonment in the future. How's that? Does that work?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, all kidding aside, yeah, that's
Sally Struthers used to do that, right?
yeah. Wasn't it Sally
World
Struthers?
business.
Yeah. And
Yes.
and
Good
then
kids.
to me, the generation after that had to suffer with Sarah McLachlan and the Tortured Animals.
Yes.
Right? It was Sally Struthers. Like, to me, it was a horrible, dark, comedic thing that, like, Sally Struthers, who's like really pretty fat, talking about starving children. And it's like I could never like take her seriously. Like, Sally, like, first show that you can also not eat before you try and help these guys. But then most people I know had to change the Sarah McLachlan right away. Like, it just was a Debbie Downer on the whole day if you got stuck watching that Sarah McLachlan bit.
Yeah. Well, there's something about cats. It's either the worm in my brain or how cute they are, but it's even it's sickly even sadder when something happens to them because they're so cute and they're so innocent looking. And you're like, dang, they didn't even know that was coming. They don't even know what is happening to them. I guess that's true with children too, but for some reason there's just I noticed that it just really affects people in a way that they can't handle, you know, whereas they can kind of put on the stoic face for the starving kid.
Yeah.
But when it's the cat getting tortured, they're like, change the channel. You know?
Yeah,
They can't
take
even...
my money. One or the other, right? If I don't change the channel, I'm going to call and donate. That's why people change the channel. But I know a lot of people that feel like they have more compassion on animals than human beings. I even had people tell me they feel guilty for it. So there's probably something behind that. I wonder what the...
Isn't it like cat videos and that are keeping the internet rolling?
Cat videos and pornography. If you deleted those two things, the internet would be like the
Is that
Mojave Desert.
Rule 34?
No, Rule 34 is if something exists, there is pornography based on it on the internet. And be very wary of Rule 34, ladies and gentlemen. Be afraid.
Yeah.
Because if you think you're being creative and you come up with an idea of something that definitely doesn't exist pornographically on the internet, and someone sees it, they're obligated to, under the rule, to then go find a way to create it. So whether it's drawing up a picture or like, you know, playing with the Legos to make it happen. So that's the darker, scarier side of Rule 34, is if you find something that definitely doesn't already exist, the internet is obliged to make it for you. So be careful out there.
What about like people with feet on their heads having sex?
Oh, Tracy, why? Why did you say that out loud? No. I hope no one from 4chan is watching this feed.
And while they're doing it, their feet on their heads. You know?
Watching some toes curl.
Cancel.
We were told not to laugh. I'm going to turn my microphone off so we don't offend them.
I just back way off. I mean, well, I don't remember who it was, but whoever let us know that we were laughing really loud, I gotta say I really appreciate it. I try to pull away if I'm laughing, because I despise morning disc jockeys cackling and puking all over their mics thinking they're so funny, and I don't ever, ever, ever accidentally want to be that again. So.
The no Joe Rogan rule.
That's
No
right.
Joe
Here,
Rogan
here. Toe Rogan. Jim showed me this video that somebody made of like a guy like with a toe for a head. Feet on head is a theme for this week somehow. Toe Rogan.
Whoa.
Toe Rogan.
Toe Rogan. Okay.
Krista
yeah.
Cox says that already exists. I will take your word for it. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if it does, because foot fetish people are freaks. And so,
Yes.
you know, if there's an idea about sex and feet, they've fully explored it, unfortunately. Scary but true. So I was trying to think of where do we go from here? I mean, I want to refocus back to that idea. If a dedicated page on, maybe we'll make a dedicated post on your Patreon, Tracy, that's just for the server. You could do a one-time gift or a build up to 190 and then it's over. Have you seen those kind of posts on Patreon before? I've seen people do that.
Oh,
No, I don't
that's
know
a
what
good
you're talking
idea.
about.
So like you can go make different categories. Like on mine and Gems, we just have like you can sign up for $2 a month, or you can give us a one-time $20 donation. So that way people have the. I know a lot of people don't like redundant billing because you know they're just not sure the money's going to be there or whatever. So
It's on Patreon, RX only picture show.
well, it's actually Patreon/Sonio, which is my
Sonio.
online handle. So
Well, you can find it by searching RX only picture show.
yeah, that's true. But if we want to make a like, you could probably even drop the Amazon link right in the Patreon description and just add it as a category for a one-time goal. Once you reach it, then it's full. Like I think I set mine to like 1,000 each, you know, so that if 1,000 people sign up for $2, then no one can sign up for $2 anymore. You know, that's you don't have to do that, but that I just did that because to me it's like a milestone. I would be flabbergasted if Jem and I had 1,000 people giving us $2 every month.
That would be awesome.
No, it's not impossible. I'd love to see the production of this whole thing. I guess that's the other list I had. That's like the main piece of something to improve our entire production. On my little list, production values, I had mixing board, microphones, cameras, special effects, Streamlabs, edited posts, and audio readings. So some of that's creative work, some of that's hardware and or software.
Earlier in the chat, they were talking about maybe getting a book of memes.
Yeah, a hard copy book of memes
Yeah.
would be great.
Maybe like a meme a day calendar with some little occulted piece of trivia.
Yeah. Put some Easter eggs in the meme calendar. I love
I like
this
it.
idea. Calendars is great.
or book of postcards. Meme postcards would be kind of cool.
Oh, you just reminded me of a similar idea. Yeah, postcards is great. That wouldn't be very expensive because we could use a direct mail service. You could get memes in the same way that your dentist mails out flyers that say, hey, you know, we're accepting new clients, your dentist or your doctor or real estate agents. We could totally set that up for Plus Ultra Picture Show so that people are, you know, they get on the hard mailing list. And you get memes in the mail and like announcements or, hey, here's your exclusive offer that's only for you, you know, because you're Plus Ultra. But I just remembered when you said the meme calendar stuff, I love the idea of making Tibetan prayer flags into meme flags. So that you have, like, you can hang your prayer flags, but they're actually memes. You know, I think that's a great idea. I think that's something that might blow up, you know. Not just with our memes, but any memes you want on your prayer flags.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Sacrilegious.
You can, you know, the Red Bubble company that I'm using to do the sweatpants and other stuff. You know, it's one of these print-on-demand companies, which is not what I have in mind as ideal. But anyway, they do have like tapestries and things like that. You know, big wall hangings. They have flags actually. So you could do it that way, you know. But
Yeah,
I think it'd be awesome if we could find, you know, local producers of things too.
Yeah, I like the idea of bringing the cost down by buying in bulk if we can afford it. I mean, print on demand is awesome, and I buy some things that are print on demand despite the price being high. I really am tempted to. Oh, these aren't right. Oh, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Well, our mic is still on, so I don't know what happened.
Okay, now I hear you again.
Okay.
Oh, good.
What's the name of your red bubble, Tracy? Do you remember?
It's like Plus Ultra RX only. It was like a crossover thing. Because I was putting memes you guys made, and memes I made on there. So I'll find it. It's on my. I have some of the links on my Twitter. I'll find it here in a sec. But yeah, well, they don't have to be. I guess they don't have to be local. I don't really care if they're local producers. It's not like, okay, you know, I mean, it's nice to support your local community sometimes, and then
The backslash.
You don't have to always. You know, it's okay to go outside the country, but I mean, I'd like to have like limited edition. You know, for a lot of this stuff, I don't. It's cool. Either way, you know, but it's even cooler when you can just do a set amount of them, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's
makes it special.
The real bottom line is that it brings the price down if we run off 1,000 of them. If we do it just like editions of a book or anything else, you know, if we run off 1,000 T-shirts, we can pretty much say we're not going to run that exact thing again, and then we increase the value because hey, you got in on the first edition of, you know, even if you just barely change the shirt or just improve the design slightly, you're making it more exclusive, more proprietary, more what do they call it? The scarcity increases, you know, in a cool way. Everybody loves that, right? Like I've got ancient records that I inherited from my dad. They're not such high quality that they're worth a ton of money, but you know, it's like I've got an original Abbey Road and a bunch of other stuff like that. Pink Floyd The Wall, you know.
Do you know the band Negative Land?
No.
Okay, so this is like a group of audio collage artists, you know, and they're like three out of the four I think are dead now. So they're dead. They died recently, but anyway, so I've had several of their albums and stuff. I'm kicking myself still to this day that years ago on eBay I sold an item that came with one of their albums. And I sold the album and the item that came with it, which was a moist towelette. And they had printed their own moist towelette and made it so that they said it was spermicidal. It was like an inside joke. It had to do with one of their songs, but I mean, there was a picture of a guy in a bathtub using it and a message about its spermicidal applications, and it was. And when you look this stuff up, I mean, you find a mention of it in their Wikipedia, but you don't see anybody else like posting it anywhere or saying, that they're selling it. So it's like there's just a few people on Earth that know what this thing is, and they're not even talking about it. You know?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean because in my dad, my grandfather on my dad's side owned a pretty big radio station in the Sacramento Valley, and so a lot of my records that I inherited from his collection have the pre-release stickers on them and stuff. You know, like it's what was sent out to the station before it was published officially. And Aladdin Sane by Bowie has a like a small fold-over portrait of Bowie, and it's an application to get into the fan club, and it's like got a heart or kisses with Bowie's printed signature. It's not a real signature, but what do you see? Oh,
We got the
yeah,
poster.
Bowie is right over here behind my head. It's the one.
Right up here.
But yeah, so I still have that, and I looked it up, and they're like going for like $60 just for that little piece of paper. It's just a way to get into Bowie's fan club, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I would never sell it because it was my dad's, and my dad's deceased, so I would never part with it. So I might frame it or something.
Yeah. So these are all things I fantasize about and would like to do.
Yeah, I was trying to
Good
find
ideas.
damn this cartoon for using plus ultra because I really wanted to stick those leggings up on the screen so people could see them.
Oh, I just now sent you the Redbubble link.
Oh,
so
okay, cool.
it
I'll
should
go
be.
grab it.
If you want me to find the leggings, I can.
No, I mean
Yep.
if you've got the whole thing, that's fine. Please no audio.
Hopefully,
please
yeah.
no
Hopefully you can
Please
find
no
the
audio.
stuff.
Please no audio. Please no audio.
There they are. No. It says 30. That's toes on the head.
Yeah, I see it. I'm sure it'll come through here.
It says one on red.
Yeah, one.
The leggings were the heads I win, tails you lose
there it
ones
is.
because
Yeah, that.
the reason why I sent it to you is because it just turned out totally obscene, and I thought it was funny.
No, you got the sausages in there.
Yeah. I mean, these are like 3 different stills from 3 different movies all smashed together. So the sausage coming out of the typewriter is from Naked Lunch, and anyway, when you put this image on
I
a
knew that looked familiar. I couldn't figure it out, but yeah, thank you.
so I don't know where the leggings are. For some reason, I'm not seeing them here, but
Okay, well.
anyway, yeah, when you put like automatically apply this image to the prefab template they have for the leggings, then it comes out so that the sausage coming out of the top typewriter appears right on the inner thigh of the person wearing the leggings.
It's like
It's just,
it's like coitus in 2 seconds. So
What did
here's
you say?
I said it's like coitus coming in 2 seconds. Here we go. We are live.
right.
So here.
here it is.
Oh.
I'm sending it to you now.
Oh, because I'm on the page. So.
Oh, really? I don't see it.
Oh, I mean, I'm not on the page for the leggings. I was gonna preview this for our fans. Here is some actual merchandise you can order, print on demand from Redbubble. If you're gonna cuck hard. That's great. I mean, I love I should buy one of these for my girlfriend so she can just throw it at my head because that's what she would do. Like, if you think we're putting that on the couch, you're wrong.
Oh, Daz said he was gonna get the comforter and spread it out on his bed.
Yeah, I saw that. He said, and he left too. I wish I didn't want to interrupt you. So if you come back and watch this later, Daz, okay, bye. He said, okay, bye. So, oh, there they are.
Oh, nice.
So here's the picture. Heads I win, tails you lose, and you can see the sausage here. But then if you gotta click on the leggings here. Oh, yeah, they must be up here. Yeah, there we go.
They're on shirts too. I like it.
So it reminds me of the cover of Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones.
You know, I
There's
never
so much
noticed
delay.
that.
I'm not even seeing this.
Yeah, it's up there now, but so yeah.
They're nice leggings.
So the bottom line behind this, folks, is that Tracy didn't like rearrange this picture 101 times to get it perfectly aligned like that, right? You just put it together and like, hey, look, the leggings coincidentally it's the phallus of Osiris. Wonderful.
So Krista Cox.
I wouldn't have done that because that was not my goal.
Right, yeah, that's
Make
it.
it seem leggings.
Krista Cox asked Tracy to put a merch link in her site and her Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, she said earlier too about your P.O. box to definitely put it up on Facebook. I think that's a good idea because you'll get stuff. You know, hard addresses. Definitely, people are encouraged to use them because it's like
good.
It's like a misnomer, right, to mail anybody anything anymore.
I was gonna say, I mean, I used to have a P.O. box. I stopped doing it because I found I was just wasting my time going down there every week. But initially, like in 1999 to 2002, I was getting stuff every week, and then it just dried up. Like all of a sudden, everyone just changed their minds about all that.
Ooh, look at this, Jim.
Yeah, and Krista Cox said make hoodies.
Yeah, I think hoodies is probably like. Oh, and that's another thing. I don't know if it's Redbubble, but if it's not, they're gonna have to be coming along right away because there's these are full print. You can get full print stuff now, and that was a problem before that they wouldn't print all the way to the edges. You know, it wouldn't be full printed. So this is cool. You see this drawstring bag, Jim?
Yeah, that's cool.
These are cool.
Yeah, I've actually gotten the pillow from this company before. I printed a picture of my dad and my son on it and gave it to my dad right before he died. It's really nice pillow. So it's not bad merchandise.
That's good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to order.
By what I saw on the pillow, it's really good.
And yeah, I remember you sent us the login too. So this is another thing I'll put on the list of just, even if we just go dump some of our favorite memes in there, not having to go like out of the way, just simply upload the photos so that we have more options for people.
I mean, I would buy this stuff, if I just had money to burn, for sure. I would have one of each one of these things, decorate my office. And more. I mean, every time you make a meme, don't you imagine all the things that could be done with it?
Of course, yeah, of course. That's why the meme flag idea to me, I was like, oh, that's horrible sacrilege. I love it. Cool. Oh, never mind. Cancel. I'm canceling that thought.
But I wonder too if the audience wants to chime in here. I'm glad that Krista mentioned the hoodies. What do people really wear? Like I know some people wear T-shirts and some people aren't into T-shirts. So, if a T-shirt isn't the first thing you would buy, what is? Like, do you like a polo shirt with a nice logo on it?
Coffee cups?
You wear a tie and have a tie tack with your favorite logo on it. How when you buy stuff like this, how do you integrate it into your wardrobe? What would be best?
Socks, dude, is what.
Socks.
Me personally,
says.
I know I'll wear hats, and I know that hats are really popular. Like, I was thinking like the traditional goofy hip-hop flat-brimmed hat, like with the overdone embroidery right on the front that has the Plus Ultra and Arts Only Picture Show somehow integrated. I love the idea of that symbol that you had designed. I love it. That thing's great. The Mount Analog symbol, or I don't know if you have a name for it, but just that all by itself with no writing of any kind, like super over embroidered in the middle of a hat.
There's more beyond, yeah.
I'd spend fucking $75 to get one of those. No problem.
Okay. Thanks, Urania. Thanks for designing that logo.
Oh yeah, Urania, who complained about the music.
Yeah, that guy.
I remember now.
I've thought about adding another ring around the logos that would have the URL of the main website on it. But I don't feel like I'm at my main website yet because I actually have several other URLs, including one that's a lot better. And one of the plans this year is to move everything over and to get a pro to help us do this so that, we don't mess anything up and we don't cause any trouble to any of our members whatsoever. Just all of a sudden you're like, okay, here's the new place to log in.
Yep.
And not make it any more complicated than that. So that's the goal. But I mean, it's amazing actually to me that I'm getting the response that I'm getting, considering I have a very unideal URL right now, where it's just my name and then / the name of the website. You know, I'm what I mean to say is, like, I know that you feel the same way about your audience. You know, like I really love you guys. You know, I mean, you're my real family. You know, and you've done the people that are my fans and that have followed what I do over the years. They've done more for me than anybody ever. You know, this is what provides the blood that flows through my veins. You know, and nurtures everything that I do, and that my son and everything. So, I definitely want to say thank you to everybody, not just, you know, the current members, but everybody who's, you know, given anything, whether it's something tangible or the support, everything over the years. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, you know, that's what you just said is really what underpins me always trying to remember to keep your stuff first and foremost, you know, because you know, Jim and I can complain that we have to go to work sometimes, but it's not the same as hoping that enough hit your Patreon and or your private section or whatever to cover a house and an office and to have responsibilities. And so it makes me really really humble and proud to be a part of the whole thing, that it's all worked out, you know, because it wasn't easy to try and let you know that we wanted to, like, be your friends and be interested in just making sure you're okay and support your work, let alone it blossoming into something, you know. I mean, we're stoked. We're just the biggest dork-ass Tracy Twyman fans on the planet, you know. The big reveal, like, I mean, Jim and I are just suckers for anything Tracy does. we love it. And so I feel like this is definitely, like, to me, this is the kind of the next step after the Nobody Wants to Do Maintenance show. Because I remember you said to me when I first posted that, you're like, well, if you're serious, then let's talk. Because if you're talking about ways to try and, you know, increase revenue and increase production and put out more content more consistently, then I'm down. And so here we are now. We're way farther than we probably imagined that we would be from that point. And now it's like, all right, well, let's actually do it. Let's build the Teddy Ruxpin that projects the 33-minute plus ultra movie out of his eyes onto the ceiling for you. The Baphomet drone. Who wants to buy the one-of-a-kind Baphomet drone that plays Adam Lorne music from the sky?
I want to buy that.
I want it to be something that you open the box and it flies out and that's it. And it doesn't destroy itself and it doesn't go away, but you don't have any control over it. It just identifies you and it just flies around and then it goes and hides and recharges itself and comes back. Your own private drone swarm. Hey, Ryan Martin's in the chat. What's up, Ryan? I saw Ryan said Rocky Horror. I agree. I think Rocky Horror Picture Show and RX Only Picture Show are simply one and the same. We are the reincarnation of Tim Curry, even though he's not dead.
Krista's got a bunch of ideas for you. She says a black beanie with the Plus Ultra logo on it.
For sure, that's a popular item.
And Tracy Twyman around the brim. She also said black leggings with Plus Ultra down the leg. And put the mountain image right over the crotch.
There's more beyond. Oh no, there's more beyond panties. I didn't think of that till just now.
No.
I wonder if we make those leggings into boxers if the image shows up in the same place, because I could see those being popular.
The genuflect image.
Yeah, that. I know that we talked about that when I was there in person. I hope we can find a way to get a hold of that guy, because his art is terrific.
Me too. I reached out to his girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend, and she didn't reply, which is not that strange, I guess. But, I mean, because she's a friend of mine, but we haven't talked in a while, and we both have developed the habit of not answering the phone. Yep. Not just I don't take it personally, because it's certainly not personal on my end. I have a hard time answering the phone. And it's not just because, like, everyone's beating down my door, it's some kind of weird thing.
Well, they've encouraged us all to do it, so now it's like it's allowed to be on the taboo list to answer your phone. And the generation younger than us, and I know you guys are both a little bit younger than me, but the true full step down, 15 years or 10 years or whatever, they don't see it as a reasonable thing to do to call them. It's like,
right.
What, did someone die? Is the house on fire? Was my cat hurt? Why are you calling me? You know.
I can kind of understand, except the thing is, and I mean I do understand because that's generally my attitude, and I didn't mean to become that way, but I did over time, and it's like I can see why most things could be communicated in a text. The thing is when it ends up being a really long one, but I would usually actually type out an email rather than, I don't know. There's just something about when the phone rings and like you're supposed to drop what you're doing and pick it up. Hello, how you doing? And you know you're supposed to exchange anecdotes, and then you don't really know when it's going to end. And then depending on the personality type, most people are like will accept whatever reason you give them for needing to get off. But then there's some that will be offended no matter when you close the conversation,
or just ignore you. And hang on the phone as long as they can.
And talk over.
As though you didn't just say that you just had to go, especially if it's some like emerging thing, like my kid is crying. Oh, but one more thing.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I think it's just this is one area in which humans are evolving, and the current generation is like, dude, why are you calling me? You know,
Yeah.
why?
Well, I don't disagree either. I mean, I don't. As Jim can testify, well, I mean, he's probably one of him, my girlfriend, and my mother are probably, and I mean, I guess you don't ever call Tracy, but probably if I looked at my phone and it said Tracy Twyman, I'd think I should pick up. But other than that, I'm not going to answer the telephone for you, and I don't have messages that you can leave me. Like, you can call and then text me and reassure me that there's some reason I should talk to you, but otherwise, then don't. Like, why? Especially I get spam. We all get spam at the shop. We get spam on our landlines. And now you're getting spam calls on your cell phone. At least I am. I probably got 50 numbers blocked now that want to help me with student loans.
Yeah.
Or
Marriott hotels call 3 times a day. And I hit 2 to block it, to take my name off the list. And I got 4 calls today.
Yeah, I blocked the hell out of them. I'll tell you guys something funny. I had a bunch of them from, not Jim, I'm not telling about that. I can't tell about that. No, but I had a bunch of them calling me from, what's the famous part of Africa that is scamming people?
Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria. I mean, it was like 4 or 5 or 6 different numbers, and they would pick up, and I swear to God, this was actually like old school kids prank calling, because I would pick up the phone, and then kids would giggle, and they would talk in a foreign language, and it said that they were from Nigeria, and then they'd say, "Bala, bala, 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 bala." And so I kept trying to talk to them, but I finally started blocking them, and I named the blocked list Naggers. Because they were nagging me all the time, and I loved the horrible pun. But they don't call anymore. I kind of miss them, honestly. It was so funny, like, what is this language? And then they're saying Walla Walla, clearly, but no English, so really strange. But yeah, hoodies, I agree with whoever said hoodies.
And boxers.
I'm a hoodie guy. I could see Plus Ultra right here. Or sausage.
Yeah.
Underwear. Shoes would be really expensive. I could see that as like a long-term goal. If we could make Plus Ultra Picture Show shoes.
Sweatbands would be nice for when you're working out,
Yeah.
Get some.
But that kind of leads me back to the idea of jewelry. I think jewelry, especially, it doesn't have to be expensive like fine jewelry.
Like
Just
earrings.
watches.
Say again?
I really want wristwatches. Actually, I've worked on some designs before. I just didn't have them produced.
Yeah, I recently bought another information product that went on sale. And that guy, he's a veteran. His name's Nappy Boy on Twitter, and he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars selling watches. So I DM'd him. I usually do if I buy a product from somebody, just kind of say what's up. And I'll bet he would be a good link if we want to make watches. He probably knows exactly what it would cost us, what it takes, how many we would have to order to get a price break, you know, all that stuff. So that's definitely something we could explore. I mean, the product is about selling everything, and I'm totally willing to share it with you guys. You know, it's about how to use your day job as a side hustle to not need a day job anymore. Is what it's usually $100, and he put it on sale for $25 because he needed to rustle up funds.
That's ideal, isn't it?
I haven't looked at it yet, but I totally will share that with you guys. I have the same thing for Facebook too. I've got a $100 Facebook product that teaches you the ins and outs of how to use the Facebook algorithm. And it is comprehensive, like an academic course. Like it's worth it. You just need a whole bunch of money to make it work. Because like this guy's talking about spending between $5,000 and $10,000 a week on Facebook ads. But I mean, he's making bank too. You know.
I've seen stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I went through most of that course because I was gonna try and do it before we went back to work. I was gonna like try to start to become a social media advertising guy, like at least get my feet wet, and I just quit doing it because now we're working full time. So.
Oh, iron-on transfers. That's a great idea.
Yeah, patches too. Like we could make a designer heavy metal jackets. Like get the denim and order the patches and put them on all ourselves.
Oh yeah, patches.
Yeah, I used to know someone who makes them, but I think it'd be hard to track him down now. But I used to know him a few years ago.
I've got a local seamstress who's a close friend of mine. If we have the money to pay her, she'd be glad to whip it out. You know, I mean, not from scratch. I mean, to sew all the patches on.
I know that you can put like a design into a computerized sewing machine, and it'll print out embroidered patches and stuff.
Yep.
Those are pretty cool.
Absolutely.
They had those at Disneyland when I went there. They type your name in and they put it on your Mickey Mouse hat.
Yep. I remember those.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Maybe we should make Mickey Mouse hats.
And they make you sit with your sister and get a silhouette portrait.
Yeah.
So you said the Minnie's Moose, the third part's coming out?
It is. I have a few more things to do, but yeah. This is a lot of work.
Oh, it's a...
You know, I probably should have written a abridged version, you know, a script, instead of just like trying to illustrate the entire darn thing. I've been reading it out word for word and then trying to do add some music and add some visuals, which worked great for the first two parts. But yeah, it's just starting to take a long time now. Maybe I'll adjust my plan here. But at least I'm going to finish the third part the way I've got it.
Well, you have my permission to like assign me to reading tasks. I mean, if I don't have time or I can't do it, I'll just tell you. But as far as like feeling overwhelmed, you're a juggernaut, Tracy. You produce content on a level I can't fathom. I mean, other than having the free time, sure. I mean, if I didn't have a job, I'd have a lot more time to potentially produce stuff. But you like go into your secret cave and come out with like armloads of stuff. It's amazing. So I could imagine being overwhelmed with that same process of trying to finish up what you started is really challenging. So.
Well, I mean, it's the matter of right now with that project, I'm adding images. You know, I've got the soundtrack all worked out pretty much, but it's like several images per minute, and it's about an hour long, this segment. So. You know, it takes forever, and that's why I need some toady to work for me.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's
someone to help me out. I've got actually the one of the editing programs I'm working with. I realized that I have a license to put it on another computer, so thinking about what I should do with that, and trying to find. I don't know. We can talk about that. Like,
for sure.
I don't know if you guys are interested or if I should try to put it on a computer of some person. There's a person here that I'm thinking of hiring, but, you know, I never, so far I've been thinking about it for like 3 weeks. I talked to him about 3 weeks ago, and in that amount of time, I haven't felt financially shored up enough to go ahead and take the plunge. But sometimes it's just a matter of you got to take the risks too, you know, because like if I can't produce fast enough, I know that I'll start losing revenue. So, and I know that if I'm producing more, then revenue will come. So I'm on the brink of taking a risk with this person, trying to get them on board to help produce. But you know, when you're on the razor's edge, it's like, okay, if it doesn't work out or it takes longer than I thought it would, then I'm gonna be in a bind again. So
Right,
I don't know.
right. So, is it possible to add yet another license? Say if, because I just bought that Wacom tablet and I love it, and I know that I would be doing.
You did.
Yeah, there was one on Facebook for sale at like $150 less. It's not the brand newest edition, but it's like one of the most foundational ones. Like I can't remember the name of it, but it's not like a chintzy piece of crap one. Like it would have been $300 back in the day. So I can definitely work. I'm just learning it, but I'll pick it up fast because I'm going to use it as my mouse all the time. So I'll be able to do Photoshop and editing and that kind of stuff all a lot faster than I would have in the past. And
Okay.
and I'm sure it would work the same for video, because as soon as I get used to this pin being right where I want it to be all the time, then, you know, and that plus hotkeys, I'll be able to do things quickly. So my question was, if you were going to send the license to me, can we go buy yet another license if you wanted to hire the person too, or are you two only, and then you would have to like re-up for the full price, or do you know?
I don't know, but yeah, that's something I'd like to look into because, yeah, ideally I want to have a whole bunch of licenses, you know.
Because if that's the case, I could start to help, and that would potentially put us in a position to hire the person, is what I was thinking. So.
Yes, I think you're right. Like, if you could work even like one afternoon or evening per week on something, especially if like this is something that's almost done, and you know, not everybody would know how to jump into it, but at least you understand the concept. The concepts that we're talking about, you know, in that movie. So I wouldn't have to like sit down and try to explain to you the history of the whole thing, and then who these people are that we're talking about, and explain the idea that hey, we want pictures of these people when I'm talking about them. You would understand that.
I totally get it. Jacob Bacchus says he needs a John the Baptist head drone, which that.
Whoa.
Jacob, we could potentially do that in trade, because I know how good you are on the backside of the switchboard.
We could have a drone of Hermes, you know, standing on top of it with his leg up, you know, and the wings flapping, the feet wings.
Wow. Well, I think we're getting far enough along here. We better call it a night, folks. I want to say this. Let's all commit to something small. I'm gonna go figure out how to make us a Plus Ultra picture show. I'm gonna go, since Jacob said he prefers Discord. He's a tech guy. He knows. So I'm gonna make us a Plus Ultra picture show Discord, and I'm gonna encourage everyone listening tonight to watch my Twitter and/or watch Tracy's page, and let's everybody pile in there and keep this energy going on the Discord. We'll make a special folder or start a thread that's like, you know, us expanding out, you know, what do you want to see, what's the most important thing, and let's carry this energy on so that we're creating. Let's bring it down from Kether down to wherever the bottom ring is. I don't remember the name of on the Tree of Life. What's the one we're standing in?
We're in, well, okay.
Malkuth, is that right?
I think we're in Malkuth, except sometimes they say we're in Yesod, really. Like, Malkuth is sort of, you know, what's underneath us. Like, we're standing on top of Malkuth, but we're in Yesod. That's the atmosphere. And
Yeah, I just recently started to look at Kabbalah more closely than I ever have, because I've always just like poo-pooed it, like it's whatever, you know, Jewish black magic, ooh, but it's not. There's a lot behind it. There's quite a few different types of Kabbalah, you know, Hermetic Kabbalah versus Christian Kabbalah versus Jewish Kabbalah, and then, you know, it's so.
Speaking of Jews, you know that meme you made where the guy has the yarmulke and it has the Plus Ultra logo on it?
Yeah.
So if someone wants to knit a Plus Ultra yarmulke and mail it to the post office box, Be my guest.
Awesome.
Can you knit a yarmulke?
Oh yeah, I'm sure people do. I'm sure that they might not either knit or you could knit or crochet it for sure, but there's a even finer way to put stuff together that way, and they call it tatting, like T-A-T. Like that's what the lace doilies at your grandma's house, instead of being knitted or crocheted, they're probably tatted. So my guess is that the really fine needlework you're seeing might be tat.
All right.
My great-grandmother could do it, and my mom said that she just got so frustrated trying to learn that she never learned it.
I feel for her.
But yeah, I'm sure you can get, you can order custom yarmulkes. So even if we can't get one custom made by somebody crocheting, we can definitely like go on a kosher website and order us some yarmulkes. I mean, I kind of need one.
You need one.
Yeah.
Kinda. For to cover your head or what?
Because I'm bald. Then I could check the mail in the rain. All right, well, I'm excited. I'll definitely commit to making us a Discord server and making sure to push it out where people can find it. I encourage you guys in the chat and also you two to do the same thing. And you don't have to announce it right now, but I like the idea of saying, I'm going to do blank. I'm definitely going to do that. You know, if you have a specific thing, it's always better, in my opinion, to get specific than to just say, this all sounds great. Like, that's something I can start right away and give us a platform away from the live show where we can all be in pretty regular correspondence. I figure we'll kind of develop into a hierarchy or whatever of, you know, get some admins and some mods and get this thing rolling. And
you can find us on Twitter at SBAlger.
Yeah, I'm on. JEM Tracy and I are all on Twitter.
Tracy's Universal Agent.
Yeah, at Universal Agent, at JEM. Well, you're probably going to be easier to find JEM through me because he's got a. Oh, you can change that.
Oh, you found a way.
Yep, I found out you can actually change your @ on Twitter. I haven't done it because I don't want to change mine, but I assumed you might want to.
Yeah, I would. Mine makes me look like a bot. It's like JEM 06429738.
It is something like that. So.
Or something.
Awesome. Well, I really want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I look forward to using this as a jumping off point. The links are all in the description this week, so like, share, subscribe, or do. Buy something, kick us some money, tell us what you want. And let's definitely focus on that server, too.
Hey, I'm going to be answering at least some of the emails that have been stacking up literally over the last year in the next Twyman trip. So some of the ones that require a lengthy analysis, I'm going to finally respond, and should be out, I'm guessing, this week, and hopefully in the next 2 days or so. So
awesome.
Stay tuned for that, plus Ultra members. Thank you very much for your support, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, folks, and we'll see you next week. We may have we don't have it hashed out for sure. We may have a guest, we may not, but you can find us on Twitter for answers, and we look forward to it. I'm excited. So I guess this is the part where we have to tell everyone, okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.